There it goes. Go! Go, go, go! Go!
January 2026. This is still January, isn't it? All right.
It is.
It is January's edition of the Forestry Forum, the Forestry Roundtable, Forestry Forum. I don't know where I got that from. Small Businesses series on the Forestry Forum. We have Rick. Nope, we have Tim. Rick is not going to be here tonight. Trying to introduce Rick, but he's not going to be here tonight. We have Tim. He notches, he fells, he probably sharpens his teeth with a file. It's Tim, the Northern Notcher, France, Upstate's original log whisperer. We have Andy from Southern Adirondacks Outdoors YouTube channel. You hear the saw. Oh, that's Paul. I have Paul's thing up there. I wonder where Andy's is. Andy, where's yours? Well, you can call him Paul. He's really Andy, but you can call him Paul. How about that?
Close enough.
Where's Paul? Close enough. We have Craig from the Kilted Sawyer YouTube channel. He's got swagger of a Scotsman, the skills of a Sawyer. It's Craig, the lumber Highlander quilter. The only man who mills in a kilt. We do not have Neil. Neil is not going to be here tonight. We have Eric and Matthew. And if you know a saying for them, we need them, the Bearded Lumber YouTube channel. I'll make up some kind of saying and they won't like it next month. We got me from Dang, Davidson's All Natural Gym YouTube channel. And then our special guest is Russ Willey from what is it actually called? It's Russ Willey.
I'm Russ Willey, and I'm from Argyle, Maine. Kind of grew up in this area.
Right. YouTube channel.
Yep. So we've got YouTube channel, so you can find us at Willey's Firewood on YouTube. I do a lot with social media with Facebook and Instagram, and it's just under Russ Willey there. We have TikTok is Willey's Firewood as well. And Willey'sFirewood.com coming soon. We'll have all of the stuff that we have to offer and all of the other equipment and services that we do as well. So that'll be a kind of a one-stop shop for everything coming pretty soon.
Yeah, it's my first time doing it. I don't normally introduce anybody. But thanks for pointing that out, Gary.
Yeah.
So Russ is going to tell us a little bit about his Firewood, his YouTube channel, his Sawmill, and then we'll jump into any questions.
The whole thing started for me about 2.5 years ago. We bought 40 acres worth of property next door to where we were currently living. And my wife and I had this idea that we were going to clear the land, build a new home, expand my wood yard, and use that to pay off some debt and some bills. And I started a YouTube channel to document what we did as we went through that process. And come to find out, we didn't do any of that process when it was all said and done. The business took off more than I could have expected. And we actually ended up moving completely different direction, a little further out into the country. And we picked up a 46-acre piece off of my in-laws for a really good deal, and put a new wood yard in here, and we're expanding as we go. Firewood was something that I started 25 years ago, and we started doing it just here and there a little bit. I actually ended up buying Sawmill slabs for firewood. My first load of firewood I bought was a triaxle load worth of slabs. Cut it up, sold it. It sold quick. I said, well, let's buy another one. And then I ran out of slabs because the sawmill I was buying it from saw how quick I was moving them. So they started making firewood out of them themselves and cut me out. So I bought tree length, and we went after it that way. Once we got to that point, we got big. At one point, I had 6 or 7 employees. We had a Bell's firewood processor. I was doing landscape, tree work, forestry, chipping, understory removal. We were doing a little bit of everything. And I lost my wood supply, and things got really tight. So we scaled back. And when we scaled back, we set everything back to the way we started. And it was just Gramp and I. Gramp has always helped me. He won't ever say it, but I'm probably his favorite, and that's okay. But he's 79 years old now. He's the star of the YouTube channel. Everybody wants to watch Gramp run saw. I tried putting music over the videos, tried making shorts of music, and man, I got hung. If I could have been chased through a village with pitchforks and flaming torches, they were coming after me. They did not want the music. So we went back to chainsaws. And I mean, we just stick a tripod on the corner of the pile and we go to work. And I don't edit a whole lot. I don't do anything fancy. And people like to see what we do every day. And that's what started my phrase. My wife said after I started the YouTube channel, she said, you got to have a phrase. You got to have something that somebody's going to identify you by. And that's where a little bit every day goes a long way came from. And now anybody that follows along, they follow that saying, a little bit every day goes a long way. I get emails, I get phone calls, I get text messages, I get people commenting, hey, we do a little bit every day. Works great. And I always say, help someone if you can, because like today, I was going to deliver firewood and my truck decided it was done. I called my buddy Dave, and because he could help, he came and helped, and we got the firewood delivered and we got going. So that's how the YouTube thing kind of started. And then it was at Bunyan in Ohio, not last year, but the year before. Chris from In the Woodyard came up to me. Channel was new. I had about 1,000 subscribers, I think. He said, hey, I see you and Gramp on screen. You guys are doing a lot of wood. He said, that's pretty cool. He goes, you want to do an interview with me? And he's shaking his head, yes. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you do. He said, so he's come over here. He said, I'll talk to you for a minute. He said, then we'll do a little interview. And he said, you want to know how to make this YouTube thing work? And I said, well, that would be nice. I said, because I'm getting a little discouraged right now. He said, if you want it to work, treat it like a job. He said, you got to be consistent. You got to show up on time. You got to do what you say you're going to do, and you got to keep doing it. So I did, and I buckled down, and we went forward, and that's what kind of turned into some of the working relationships that we now have with Cord King and Typhoon. And I think I'm one of only 2 YouTube channels to run an all-wood commercial log splitter on their YouTube channel on a regular basis. Bobby's out of Petersburg, Michigan. There's some really great splitters out there, but I'll tell you right now, I would be very hard-pressed to switch brands and do anything different, that's for sure. There's Ted and Sherry. They were one of the first ones that found me when I went to Bunyan the first year, Miller Stumps and Firewood. Ted and his wife Sherry are great people. It's just really good to see them. And Brian, Shotlift Family Firewood. Brian has the only firewood engine roadside firewood rack that I've ever seen. So it's pretty cool. We call it the Woodhound community with the firewood guys. We do a lot of charity events. We do the Hoosier Firewood Hysteria in Indiana. We cut and split firewood for Vietnam veterans. We did like 50 or 60 cord of firewood in 2 days in the pouring rain last year and got all their firewood done for the year. We go to Pennsylvania. We do Hope. The Hope House is a place where people with cancer can go and stay. Everything's taken care of. We did just over 100 cord in 7 hours with everybody that showed up at Hope this past year. And we're hoping to be able to do more next year. So lots of great events, lots of great people. And whenever they show up, it's just like talking to friends. I mean, everything is just, you pick up right where you left off, and it's like you talked to him yesterday. So that's the brief how we got to where we are now.
So you own over 80 acres or about 80 acres?
We've got 87.5 acres between both pieces of property that we own right now. Yep. And I have access to another close to 200 acres worth of forest land through firewood customers that we've had for years, where I trade stumpage for firewood. So we can go in and we can cut in exchange. So Cold Spring Farms, that's Ryan Willey. He used to be the Typhoon Territory Manager, one of my good friends down in Virginia. He logs low impact style with a farm tractor and a forwarding trailer and a Typhoon forestry winch. Walnut down there pays much better than anything pays up here, that's for sure. When he tells me what he gets for walnut, I get a little jealous because there isn't anything I'll cut in Maine that's going to beat that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You going to the Hoosier event this year again?
This year we will be going to the Bear Paw Boy Scout event up in Wisconsin. I had committed to that last year. Logger Jason has a YouTube channel, and they do a bunch of firewood for a Boy Scout troop that makes maple syrup that they sell all over the area. So we're going to go up and do all of that. Not enough firewood. That's Robert Daigle. So Robert Daigle makes restaurant wood for me, and has become a really good friend. We're doing good, Robert. The Tundra is a little sick right now. I'll tell you about that tomorrow. But other than that, we're doing good.
So is firewood all you do, Russ?
No, we do. So the whole idea with the sawmill was I was looking at all the firewood that came in, and I was seeing all these logs because we buy from small suppliers, so they don't necessarily have a full load of saw logs or enough of a load to send to the mill. So it gets mixed in with firewood. And we kept cutting it up. And I mean, we were cutting beautiful stuff up for firewood. And I'm like, man, if we had a sawmill, that would be fantastic. And I finally had a chance to get a sawmill. And the first thing I cut on my sawmill was ambrosia maple or beetle kill maple. And I didn't know what it was. I just thought it looked really cool. So I did a little research online and I found it and I was like, oh yeah, that's what it is. So I put it up for $3 a board foot. It's 10 times more than I'd get out of it in firewood. Yep. And I was like, this will be great. Guy messaged me. He said, whatever you've got, take the ad down. I'll take it all. I'll come with cash tomorrow. He said, just take the ad down. And I was like, oh, I messed up. So I got looking online and I looked at what it sold for, and I see guys selling it for $7 to $10 a board foot. And I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
I'm like, I left a little on the tip, but I was still happy. It was 10 times more than I would have got out of it in firewood.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I wasn't complaining and he was happy, but it's, you know, it's just one of those deals where for years we Grandpa's cut up bird's eye maple in the firewood pile, and we didn't know it was bird's eye until we started splitting it. And I'm looking and the logs are already gone. And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, it seems like bird's eye spalted maple goes really well.
I mean, we get a lot of spalted cherry up here, so we get cherry with a lot of pitch speckle in it.
Yeah,
and really beautiful character and figure. And it's not the prettiest stuff. Our cherry is not like the cherry you guys get down south. Our cherry is ugly, and when you saw it, the character is beautiful.
We also have spalted yellow birch, so I mean, it's just like crazy.
Yep. Yeah, we've had some spalted yellow birch here and there, but most of the time you got to let it sit. If you want it to spalt, you need to let it sit, and especially leave the bark on it and let nature do what it needs to do. But there's a point where it goes too far too quick, and when it gets to that point, you got to keep an eye on it.
Well, as long as you got the mushrooms on the outside, you know it's doing the work on the inside.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah.
So
and then,
did you make it to Bunyan?
I did. We made it to Bunyan this year. So we were with Typhoon and Cord King at Bunyan this year. I actually saw Craig at the Cord King booth. He came and tracked me down, came over and just about knocked me over and shook my hand. So saw Craig and saw a bunch of people at Bunyan this year. We actually traveled the logging show circuit for the spring and summer. So our show season will start in Tennessee this year. And I work with Typhoon and Cord King. And I've got another venture that I'll be working with pretty soon too. So that'll tie up some extra time too. So when the time comes, I'll let everybody know, but we're still going through a little legal stuff to make sure that we've got our I's dotted and our T's crossed before we let the cat out of the bag.
You ever make it to the Woodsman's Days in New York?
We were there this year. Yes, sir.
We were there also.
I was up there with Cord King and Typhoon again this summer. We traveled with Cord King and Typhoon. I did the the Northeast Forestry Expo in Bangor. We did the PA Timber Show in Pennsylvania. We did Boonville. We did Bunyan. And there was one other show that we did too. Plus, we did 4 charity events. We spent a pile of money traveling, but met a lot of great people and had a ton of fun. So
yeah, it is fun, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
Bunyan was a riot.
Bunyan is always good. Bunyan is where most of the YouTube channels show up. So anybody with a YouTube channel, they usually end up at Bunyan, and everybody gets together. So for the Firewood side of the things, everybody goes to the Fairfield Residence Inn in Cambridge, Ohio. Dan from Back 40 Firewood, he does his Friday Night Live over at the Residence Inn. You've usually got Easton Made, Andrew Easton, and Bob Nelson from Wolfridge, and all the manufacturers. Everybody's there. Everybody's having fun. Bunyan is just a good time. And we did the International Firewood Expo too. Ryan from Cold Springs Firewood just reminded me of that in the chat. So
nice.
A lot of the same like-minded people in the same area for the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that's the whole thing. It doesn't matter if Craig runs a wood miser and I run a cook saw. Yeah. We still get together. We still have a good time. We still razz each other. Doesn't matter if he runs a Husky or if I run a Steel, you know, whatever it is, we all kind of work together and do what we need to do. Yeah, Len's right. The great party at night too at the Residence Inn. It makes for a rough morning, but it's a great night. So yeah. But yeah, the sawmill thing is something that I've always been interested in. I almost bought a sawmill right out of college. That was my actual senior project in college, was laying out a sawmill business and seeing if it would be viable and how we went about doing it. And it worked on paper, and it still works on paper to this day. It just, things didn't line up and things changed. But now as we go, I've got a goal for this coming year. I'd really like to saw 100,000 board feet. And that's kind of my goal that I've put for myself. And we're at about 5,000 right now, and we're in January. So I think it's doable. We've got a lot of lumber and a lot of logs coming into the yard. So we'll give it a try and see what happens.
That's awesome.
And,
go ahead,
and
John.
what type of mill did you say that was?
So I've got a Valley Green Monster out of Canada.
Okay.
We're looking at hydraulic because I know 100,000 feet with a manual mill is going to wear us out in a hurry, especially when we start sawing the big stuff. But for right now, what it is, I mean, my buddy Dave and I, he's got his own business, and we sub back and forth between each other, and we split the money from the milling. We can do 3,000 feet if we have a full day and we just put our head down and go. It's just finding that motivation to make it a full day and not drag your feet in the morning to get going. So,
right.
How much of that tree job got you thinking about that sawmill? Was you already had the gears turning on that, and that job kind of added to it?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to build new roadside racks, and I knew I didn't want to spend the money on the lumber myself. So when Dave called and said, "Hey, I got a big job. We're going to take down 6 or 8 big white pine. We can have the wood from it. You come do the work, help me chip it up and get everything hauled back, and we'll turn it into lumber." So we've got roughly just shy of 3,000 feet in the stands right now worth of lumber, surprisingly. It adds up quick. And then, the other 2,000 feet or so that's left, we've sawn or are sawing for customer orders. So that'll be extra profit on top of that job and besides the racks. So
it's super looking lumber.
Yeah. Oh, it's great stuff. I mean, it's white pine. The butt cuts on them are all would have been select logs if we had sent them to the mill.
Joe's messaged me as Verizon's freaking down again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw that was down earlier this week, wasn't it? Verizon.
Yeah, he had issues.
Lots of people with Verizon were held up this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, he knew Russ was coming on, and he said he wanted to participate more than just saying hi.
Yep. What species do we cut for sale for firewood? So the majority of the species that we have up here is going to be maples, whether it be hard, soft, or red maple. We'll have beech. We'll have red oak. We have no white oak up in my area in Maine. Ash, yellow birch. Once in a great while, you'll get a little elm and a little cherry. But if you had to take a general consensus, it's maples, yellow birch, and beech is the most predominant species up where we are.
So do you sell that? Can I buy a hard cord of maple, hard maple?
Yeah, we've got customers that want it picked picked a side, and so we do restaurant customers. That was one thing I wanted to do. I said, I got tired of fighting with all these guys that want to do bulk firewood and they want to get a processor, crank it out as fast as they can. However it comes off the machine, this is what you get. We split all of ours by hand with a splitter. So if you want it split small, we can split it small. If you want it split big, we can split it big. And we started catering to our customers. And what that turned into was we went to go out to eat one night, my wife and I. She wanted to go to a local restaurant. And it's not my favorite restaurant, but they got wood-fired pizza. So I said, that's all right. I said, I'll grab a pizza and a beer. I said, it'll be great. We went down. There was no fire in the oven. And I was like, well, what's going on? They said, well, our wood's too wet. We can't get it to burn. It was the middle of the winter, so it was cold and icy. I had barbecue samples in the back of the truck for a new barbecue restaurant that was opening up. I brought those in, a couple of my fire starters. I said, here. I said, fire the oven up. Let's go. So they fired the oven up. I got my pizza. And the next morning at 6 a.m, the owner of the restaurant called and he said, hey, how quick can we get 2 cord and what's the cost?
That's what I call
for
gratuitous.
You wanted a pizza really bad, didn't you?
I did.
That's an awesome story.
That's awesome. I love that story.
Yep. Yeah, so that restaurant alone turned into 6 more restaurants because that one owner owned 6 other restaurants. So we now do about 250 to 300 cords of restaurant wood a year. And
so is that like a different size than regular firewood?
Yep, we split it all small. They want like a 2.5 to a 3-inch hand size split, something they can get real easy into the oven, lights quick, burns hot.
Yep.
Just like anybody else, most people don't know the difference between the types of wood. You talk to these people that are cooking oak. We got to have oak. We got to have oak. That's the best firewood. Oak is not the best firewood to cook with.
No, it is not.
It's the longest burning firewood to cook with, but it takes so long to dry that most of it is not dry. So when you look at that, I brought a bunch of ash to one of the pizza trucks that we do. And the guy goes, well, what's this? This looks like pine. I said, this is white ash. I said, try this. I said, before you say anything else, try it. They ran it for like half an hour. And he looked at me. He goes, my oven has never run this hot. I said, well, 1, I said, it's split the right size. I said, and 2, it's dry. I said, so, we'll do what we need to do and we'll go from there. And he goes, I don't want anything else from now on. I want just ash. I said, no. I said, wait. I said, this isn't a one size fits all. I said, there's other wood that will work. I said, but the biggest thing is getting the right size split so that you're not waiting for that wood to catch in the oven. And we've gotten everybody acclimated. Every restaurant that we went to when we first dropped off wood, they all said, no, this isn't right. This is too small. This is too small. And I said, try it. I said, once you try it, you let me know. They don't burn any more wood. We still service every 7 to 10 business days, just like they always did. And then they're getting a much better service. So when they're running a dinner service and they're really busy, that oven's staying hot. They're getting orders out faster. They can put more food through that restaurant, which is more revenue for them. So then when I tell them I got to go up on price a little bit, they don't feel so bad about it because they're making more money in the same amount of time anyway.
Right.
So it's, you got to use your customers right. That's the biggest thing is educating your customers. A lot of times the firewood guy just drops wood off and says, here's your firewood. Well, that's not customer service.
Are you having any problem getting ash? I mean, like,
oh yeah, I have problem getting everything. I'm kind of one of those, the best way to chew an elephant's one bite at a time. I'll worry about the problem as we go. So when I took those restaurants over, I needed 150 cords of dry wood like right now, and I had none. So I started scouring Facebook Marketplace. I bought any dry wood that I could find that was what I wanted. And I went and did everything that we needed to do. And we turned it into a product that we could make more money out of. And we resold somebody else's product because if they can't buy it from them and they're getting it from me, they don't know any different anyway.
Right. That's funny.
So it's been a ride. It's been a real ride. So we're in the process of building a firewood kiln so that we can kiln dry firewood to try and keep up with demand. And that's just, we're going to make that out of a 20-foot shipping container. We're going to use an outdoor wood boiler. And I had toyed with the idea of an iDry unit. There's another one all pre-made that we can get everything all hooked up. So we may still go that route. And TJ Stonehouse is a guy that follows my channel. And every video you can tell he watched the whole thing because he'll either write you a poem or he'll have hashtags for the video through the whole video. And exactly is because of Kevin, little Kevin that helps me. He doesn't say exactly, he says exactly. So that's been turned into a hashtag. We've got a shirt that says it and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: do you find your residential customers, they wait until the weatherman forecasts snow and they call you up, they're out, and I need firewood now?
They wait until it's snowing already, like today, and they call me and they say, we're out of firewood. We need wood right now. And my first response now, I've done this long enough, and, I have a little compassion to a point. My first response is, you did not find out today that you were out of firewood. You knew 2 weeks ago that you were getting low on firewood. You knew a month ago you were getting low on firewood. Don't wait until it's snowing and 10 below zero and the wind's blowing to call me and tell me you need firewood. But no, we try to work with people. So our roadside racks, we sell 75 to 100 cords of firewood out of our roadside racks a year.
Wow.
Wow, because I was going to say, I saw that.
$5 amounts to $100 amounts where people can come cash and carry whatever they want. And I found the same older people showing up when we first built the racks, and I thought maybe it was an income thing. And I said, if you guys are on a fixed income and you need us to just deliver you a cord of wood so you can get your wood taken care of, bunch of them, no. It gives us something to do. It gets us out of the house.
Wow.
So they'll come buy $40 or $50 of wood a week, and it gives them a chance to get out of the house, get a little exercise, and they don't have to put a whole cord of wood away at a time. And it's the same price either way. So, it kind of evolved and started that way. And then in the summertime, we get a lot of tourists that come to Maine because Maine's one of those states that's like a big park and everybody wants to come visit. Those people, it's amazing. I'll put firewood in bags, and a $5 bag has half the amount of firewood that one of our loose $5 bins does. They'll grab the bag every single time because it's easier.
No kidding.
They'll just grab it and go.
I got a buddy down the street that runs a little firewood business. And I kid him. I tell him he's selling gourmet firewood because he wants it has no bark. It's beautiful little 3x3 or 3x4 squares.
Yep.
No rot, no disease. He's selling high-end firewood. And he was here a week or so ago. I asked him, I said, "You sold any firewood?" He sold 30 bins. He stopped by yesterday. He said, "Man, I sold out." But we had our first cold snap.
So I get a lot of people on the YouTube channel, they'll ask about starting a business, and I'll help anybody. I don't care if you're right next door or if you're 100 miles down the road. And I had a guy local here. I helped him start a firewood business. And towards the end of it, he kind of looked at me funny. He said, "Why are you helping me?" I said, "I tell you what," I said, "if you're still in business in 5 years, I'll buy you lunch." And he looked at me funny. He said, "What's that supposed to mean?" I said, "Well, I've been doing this for a lot of years." I said, "And I haven't had to buy any lunches yet." I said, "So you do what you need to do." I said, "But firewood's work every day." And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They think it's going to get easier. It doesn't get any easier. It's the same amount of work tomorrow as it was today. And, it takes a long time to get used to that kind of work. I mean, sawmilling is a completely different type of work. That manual mill, to push that mill for a day versus running firewood, I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me the first time I ran the mill for a whole day straight ahead. I got up the next day and I'm like, what is going on? I couldn't hardly walk. And then I was like, it was a stupid sawmill. I was like, I can't believe that.
So those roadside bins you have, are they all the same size or different sizes? Or
we've got amounts from $5 all the way to $100, and it figures out to $300 a cord, cash and carry. Whether you grabbed $65 bins or you grabbed $300 bins, you're going to get the same amount of wood.
So you got coverings over them or no?
Yep. Yeah. So I put pictures on my Facebook. We started assembling them and putting the roof over them. We built some new roadside racks. The old ones I just made out of 2x4s, and they were out by the road for 7 years and lasted. But the new ones we put on 8x8 pine skids, built everything out of true sawn 2x4. True sawn 1-inch boards. We'll let everything thaw out and dry out a little in the spring, and then I'll stain everything. And once it's stained, I mean, those things are going to last longer than I want them to be there. So it was definitely a labor of love. It was a lot more work than we were planning on, but we built them a lot bigger than we were planning on too. They'll hold just over 3 full cords when they're completely filled.
So did you build them where you put them, or did you have to move them?
No, we built them modular, picked them up with the bucket loader, put them in the dump trailer. They were in 2 halves. So when we got them there, I said, well, I'll be able to pick them up with my tractor. I got a 30-horse tractor, And yeah, no, that wasn't happening. So we had to bring my my buddy Dave's bucket loader over and pick them back off the trailer and get them put into place. They're heavy. There's roughly 3,000 board feet worth of lumber in them, so they're not light by any means.
Do you kind of have them on skids?
Yeah, on 8x8 skids.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the way to go.
Yep.
They're nice looking.
Yeah, they are. Pine's pretty anyway when it's fresh sawn if you got nice stuff. I mean, there's not, some of that stuff should have been select trim boards, but we turned it into boarding boards or beams even. It, you know, we got paid to take the trees down for the tree job, and I had the mill, so it's whatever. We're just going to run what comes off the mill and we're going to make something with it.
Yeah.
So that's a win-win for you then.
Yeah. And now we've got about 2,000 feet worth of lumber that we can sell left over from the job. So that'll be another couple $1,000 for us that we can split and put towards going through. Tried some different blades this time around that we hadn't run before. Joe Main got me some 7 degree and 10 degree bi-metal turbo blades, and we ran those. The double hard blades, those were great. We ran the 10 degree. Those were really nice, as long as you didn't find any metal hardware in the tree. We found some of that. So metal detector will be next on the list, that's for sure. Which we kind of figured there would be with yard trees anyway. But
sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah, we didn't get very lucky.
I think Eric and Matthew have a lot. Buckets and buckets full, you guys?
Yes, we got a bucket. We're waiting to make a table.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Oh, that would be neat.
Here's the latest one that we got. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, I saw that on your video. Yeah, I saw
that. Yeah. Guess who put all these nails in here?
You did. Wow.
I had a job like that. We did a tree job on a lake close by to where I am called Pushaw Lake. And oak is telltale when you have metal in it. We cut the tree down. You could see the blue stain. So we knew there was going to be metal in it somewhere. But we had to get it chunked up to be able to get it out. And we started cutting. We found a 5-gallon pail worth of spikes in that tree. And the woman that owned the place, I asked her, I said, what is going on with this tree? And she goes, oh, my goodness. She goes, I didn't even think about it. She goes, when we were kids, we had a tree house in that tree. She said, we used to take granddad's bucket of nails and go up and put more boards on and do. There had to be a 5-gallon pail full of nails in those. I ended up burning them. It wasn't even worth trying to make them into firewood, nothing. I said, they're going away. See you later. Gone.
Gotta love it.
What that was a tree house when I was probably 8-10 years old, in between 3 trees, about 40 feet off the ground. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm a sawyer, and I complain when I hit nails. I guess karma's real.
So Len wants to know, in a typical day, how many hours do you work and 7 days a week? So that changes seasonally. My wife likes it if I take Sunday off for family day, and my grandmother will hang me if I work for money on a Sunday. So if I'm working on a Sunday, it's for my own project or something that I'm doing, not for money. But we usually work 6 days a week. My day gets split up a little different. Gramps an early bird, and Gramp will saw every single day that there's firewood logs in the yard to saw. He's my alarm clock. So if you watch my YouTube channel at daylight, 15 minutes till daylight, he's firing the saw up and he's going to work. He'll saw until 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. He'll pack his saws back up. He goes home for the day. I come inside. I'll answer my emails. I'll do my machine quotes, whatever else I need to do for paperwork. Kevin works overnights at a university as a janitor. So he's usually up 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. So by then he comes over. We start and split and deliver whatever we need to deliver for that day if we're doing firewood. And he goes home, and then I come inside and I make my videos, do my reels, everything else I need to do, because social media turns into its own full-time job and creates its own monster of a headache that a lot of people don't realize. They watch it and they appreciate and they like to follow along, but they don't realize the time that goes into that social media aspect of everything.
For sure.
Every day. You got to be consistent at it.
So, I mean, in the course of a week, actual working hours is probably less than 40, but if you figure in all the social media and paperwork time and everything else, probably 70 hours
80.
plus.
Yep.
And that's part of being self-employed. You've got to do everything else that somebody else would normally do if you're working for a company. And anybody that's self-employed knows that there's so much more than just going and doing the job.
Correct.
So for you guys that are here, I was kind of glad to be able to sit down here. I'm going to pick at you guys a little bit. For those of you that are sawing, how did you build your markets and how did you get established in your area? Because I know up where I am, there are tons of guys that sell rough sawn lumber everywhere, and I don't see a whole lot of it moving, but I know it moves because they wouldn't be buying all these mills and they wouldn't be doing this stuff if it wasn't going somewhere.
Well, first of all, there's a big difference between somebody hobby milling and full-time milling.
Yep.
Most of us started out hobby milling. I had a good paying job. Youngest son, Matthew, he was the last one moved out, went to the Army. I needed a hobby, so I bought a wood miser. And it's a hobby that got out of hand. And it takes time. I worked 6-7 years kind of mobile milling, fiddling around when I had time on the weekends. And after a while, your name gets out there. If you'll do quality work, you'll return your phone calls, and you do what you tell people you'll do. I don't advertise a thing now other than, my Facebook post and YouTube. And I get people all the time call me, and the best customer says, Joe told me to call you. You do good work.
Yep.
That's what I want to hear.
And that's the way our firewood business got built. Was now it's all word of mouth. I don't have advertisements up. I don't need advertisements up. The phone rings. I may not know who it is, but they say, hey, so-and-so referred me. They say you have firewood. What can you do for me? And, that's kind of the way it's been even with the few sawmill orders that we have now is I didn't advertise it. They saw it on a YouTube video or they saw it on a short and they said, hey, I need 1-inch boards. How much?
Right. You have to work at it. There's nothing wrong with advertising when you first get started. You got to get your name out there, print out a bunch of business cards, go out and just pass them out like popcorn.
Yep.
And don't quit your day job until this, fills the bill.
Yeah. Well, the firewood is my day job. So the sawmilling's a hobby right now, but I'm trying to use sawmilling so that I don't have to plow snow next winter.
Right.
So I plow about 25 residential driveways, and that's my extra money when firewood slows down in the winter. And I want the sawmilling to take place of that snow plowing because I don't want to have to be out in the middle of the night anymore.
Well, I'll tell you, in our area, and it's probably true in all these guys' area, you got to feel a need and feel it good that somebody else is not doing.
Yep.
Right.
And I knew early on when I got beyond playing and hobby and going into full-time business, I needed a kiln and a molder planer to do from log to finished lumber. And that's where I wanted to get. My dad and I took a trip today. We went up to Fry's, Virginia, and I bought probably the last piece of my operation I've been wanting to get. It's a 37-inch wide belt sander to be able to do wide slabs from cut to kiln dried to smooth and finished that they can take home and ready to use.
Yep. Yeah. When I was 19 or 20 years old, I worked for a local fence company, and we had a old industrial 4-sided molder planer, and we had a Timber King sawmill, hydraulic sawmill, electric, and we would buy in cants of cedar, and we would make our own cedar pickets or our own boards for cedar or whatever it was. And that was kind of where I got involved with that kind of thing. And I found out those molder planers can be dangerous weapons. Yeah, it wasn't anything. This thing took up a whole room. This was from like the 30s. And when you turned it on, the whole building dimmed for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it was massive.
Mine's old. It's a 1990, but it's a whole lot more modern than one of them that had no safety on it. All the belts exposed, all the
safety was not a thing with that molder planer.
So the other thing is, I hate to tell you to stop competing with Lowe's, but you can't.
I don't compete with Lowe's.
Right. You can't sell a 2x4, maybe a 2x6, but you can't sell a 2x4 or 2x6. Usually even a 4x4, you can't sell cheaper than Lowe's.
Yep.
But Lowe's cannot sell a 6 1/4 by 5 3/8.
Right.
You know what I mean? They can't sell that. Lowe's can't sell a kiln dried spalted maple slab.
Right.
Lowe's can't sell a live edge cherry. You know what I mean? With the figure in the side inside of it that's kiln dried. So don't just try to don't compete with your other mills who are selling 2x4s and rough sawn lumber. Just do some, you know what I mean? Do some custom stuff.
I don't even necessarily care as to do dimensional lumber unless somebody really needs it for a cut package if we're working with a contractor.
Right.
Dimensional lumber is slower. I mean, you're never going to compete with the industrial sawmills if you're going after dimensional lumber. So there's no way that you can compete. But, you know, a 16 or an 18-inch wide pine board that they can't get somewhere else, if I can saw that for them, that was what one of the customers wanted. He wanted 20-inch wide pine boards.
Wow.
He said, I want 5/4 by 20. He said, can you do it? I said, yeah. I said, I can do it. He goes, that's what I want. He said, I need 1,500 feet of it. He said, let's have them.
Right. And people like this that were just commenting, you know, a lot of them don't want the Lowe's wood because it is banana wood, and they know that they can get it, you know what I mean, off of a small sawmill. Somebody who's doing it right, they can get it right, but they still are willing to pay the price to get it right. You know what I mean? Because I can't cut it for Lowe's. I'd go broke trying to cut a 2x4 for Lowe's price. I can't do it.
And the thing is, even with paying for logs in our area for like the pine boards, we can stay cheaper than the mill and still make a higher profit margin because we have less overhead. We're not going to produce the volume that they're going to produce. No, but it still covers our end.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, you'll go broke with a sawmill trying to outsaw Lowe's.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You're not going to outsaw the box store.
The only dimensional lumber that we normally saw is somebody brings me their logs and say, I want 52 by 4s, 102 by 6s, and, you know, some 2 by 8s. Yep. I'll do that because at my saw price, they're a lot cheaper than going to buy Lowe's lumber because it's their material.
Yep. It's their log. Yep.
A good thing if we've gotten into here lately is timber frame. We've sold out several big timber frame packages where they bring the wood in, and I got one sitting on my yard here. I'm waiting on the guy to send me a check. 22,000 board feet of a timber frame.
Yep. We got a gentleman probably an hour south of me on the coast, and that's what he does. He makes timber frames. Yep. So he buys in logs and he makes timber frames, and he's usually got them stood and erected beside the road because he's down in tourist country. So the tourists come rolling through and they see, oh, look at that. Isn't that nice? Next thing you know, that one's tore down and he's working on another one to put another one up.
Well, I'll tell you, with your sawmill business, whatever you can do to add value to your wood, whether you're cutting something unique, a walnut, a cherry, an ash, or something that they can't get, or kiln drying it to add value, or buying you a piece of machinery to finish process it so that when they drop off their log and they pick up their wood, it's ready to go in their home and they don't have to deal with nobody else but you. You'll make money.
Yep. Yeah. So that was one of the things when way back in college, over 20 years ago now, when I did my paper, I was looking at the molder because I knew after the boards were made, if I had them dried, if I put my lumber ahead, if I could turn that into a finished product, I was going to get a lot more money for it. So I knew that right from the start. And that's kind of the reason for the kiln. We're going to have 2 kilns when we're done. I can have one drying lumber and I can have one drying firewood. Yep. You know, they're both going to be able to do one or the other.
If you're good at it, people will pay you to dry their own wood. My next kiln run after the one that's in there currently is mostly customer hardwoods.
Yep.
I don't run a lot of hardwoods because it takes up a lot of time, but 2 or 3, 4 times a year, I'll put in a load of hardwoods. And I tell people, if you want in, this is when you need to be here.
Yep. Yeah, BGW Enterprises, he just said low boy timbers are a decent moneymaker, and he's right. I've saw lots of decking for trailers for low boys and equipment trailers and stuff like that. It's usually hemlock up in our area that we use for trailer decking, but saw lots of it.
John, didn't you just have something like that?
I just did a low boy. I just put out a video about a guy getting some low boy timbers out of his yard. And this one right here, this is the perfect example right here. I said it in the video that I put out today. Stop trying to compete with the Amish.
You can't.
Stop trying to compete with Lowe's. You can't compete with them. Cut something that the Amish are not cutting And even if the Amish can cut it for 29 cents a board foot or whatever the heck they can cut it for, set your price, set whatever you can cut it for and make a profit and keep that price. Yeah. And when they say, when you set your price at whatever you set it for, $2 a board foot for this board, and they say, well, I can go to the Amish right down there and get it for 29 cents a board foot. Say, okay, see ya. Go get it there. You know, you cannot, the Amish has 17 people that all they have to do is feed them and they work for free, you know, and you can't do that.
Listen, if I'm going to work for free, I got a CDL in my pocket. I'll be back on the road tomorrow making a bucket.
I got one of those too.
And not have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I'm not working for free.
Yeah, we have Amish all around us, and you guys know that. So we just got our niche doing something else that the Amish will not do. You know, we just do the custom hardwood slabs.
With the firewood business, like Russ is just saying.
Exactly.
Yep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't want to compete with all the bulk guys doing processor wood, so we went to the restaurants. And I knew the restaurants were getting wood that wasn't decent, so I said, here, I can give you something better. And, you know, when we started giving them a product that worked better for them, you know, that one restaurant turned into 6, and that 6 restaurants has turned into 2 barbecue restaurants besides. And now the people that own the 6 restaurants, they've got 27 Airbnb properties that they rent out in the summer. We go there and we're going to be stocking their firewood racks for them. And the guy said, I want you to assume that the rack is empty, whether you put 3 sticks in it or you put 300 sticks in it. He said, you bill me the same for an empty rack. He said, when you go to fill them, he said, fill them. Wow. Said, okay.
And it's things like that, you know, the high dollar, the high volume wood processor is not going to give somebody just cherry, just maple, just, you know what I mean?
But it's more work all the way around. So when you look at a processor, so like Cord King, I work with Cord King, for example, they have a machine called a repeater, and basically it's a box wedge. If you've seen a commercial splitter, they've got the square box wedges that make the perfect square splits for your bundles and your smoker wood. Right. They've got that built into a processor now. So the typical giant chunks that come off a processor are non-existent. Now everything that comes off that processor is uniform, it's consistent, it's the same. You can set just oak on there, and you can run a cord of oak for a barbecue restaurant. You can give them a 3x3 split if that's what they want, and you can just run the wood. But when you get some of the bigger processors with the traditional star-shaped knives, if that's not centered right and the guy running it's not paying attention, or he's listening to his ear pods and he doesn't care, you're going to have kindling coming off the bottom, and you're going to have pieces that won't fit through the door of the stove coming off the top. And he's going to say, well, I don't know what happened. I was running the processor.
Right. And
don't your splitter, Craig, have the box wedge in it now? Or you can make
it does. They offer a 3, 4, and a 5-way. I believe it comes with the 3-way.
How's Mama liking her uniformly splitting wood now?
She loves it.
Yeah. It's amazing, you know, if you make a really nice product with firewood or lumber or any of that stuff, if you give somebody what they want, they'll pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's, you know, again, it's listening to your customers. And, you know, the guy that wanted 20-inch wide pine boards, I wasn't about to tell him that they're going to cup and they're not going to be what he wants if he doesn't really dry them and pay attention to them when they're drying. But
correct. That's
what you want. Have at it. We'll cut you whatever you need.
Well, that's what I told my neighbor down the road. He's a good guy. He moved here from California, semi-retired, just wanting something to stay busy. And he talked to me about firewood. And I said, you can't compete with Jim Bob, a chainsaw, and a pickup truck. I said, if you're going to compete in the firewood market, you need to do something a little more streamlined. I can say I call him the gourmet firewood processor.
Yep. There's lots of guys that they do just cooking wood. So there's a guy, Yadkin Valley Outdoors, Jason Phoenix. He does a lot of cooking wood, and he's got a vertical splitter, and he'll make the perfect square splits, no bark on them. Everything looks real pretty. Marlon Petrie down in Tennessee, he and his family, he uses his axis vertical splitter more than he uses his horizontal splitter now, because he's looking for that real uniform, pretty firewood. And, you know, there's something to be said for spending the time to make nice firewood, and then there's something to be said for spending too much time trying to be perfect when what you're going to do is just burn it and turn it into ashes anyway.
Correct.
I burn firewood in my house, and what I burn, I don't care what it looks like. I just want a uniform length and somewhere between a 3x3 to a 6x6, and in the stove it goes.
Yep.
I'm not selling it to anybody. It's for me.
Yep, that's what we would call a general mix up here. So when somebody just wants mixed hardwood, that's what they get. They'll get anything from 3x3 to 6x6, and it's a mix, so they can fill it. But there was a comment up there from TJ Stone, said best wishes for hardworking man. So there's a YouTube channel out of Michigan, Heath and Rachel Postma. Heath actually was in the hospital last week. He had a bunch of pulmonary embolisms that were removed from his lungs. He had a bunch of blood clots removed from his thigh, and he still has some in his calf. They're not sure what caused it, but he's home. He made it, luckily. So hopefully he makes a full and speedy recovery. For anybody that has ever met Heath, he is the loudest person in any room that he gets to. And if somebody needs everybody to get somebody quieted down, he's the megaphone that will do it. So when we're at Hoosier Firewood Hysteria, a couple of guys were trying to get everybody to quiet down. He's like, "What are you doing?" And so we need everybody quiet down. He climbed up on a chair and he said, "Hey, time to be quiet now." And then the room went silent. He goes, "Now what?" Yeah. But now Heath is really good, and hopefully he gets better. I know Josh and Janice Leach, they just commented too. His wife had some pulmonary embolisms not long ago. They make all my merchandise. They make my shirts and all my stuff and my stickers for the YouTube channel and stuff. And she had blood clots in her lungs. So it's you got to pay attention. If something doesn't feel right, you don't feel good, go get it checked out, get it taken care of. We're all on borrowed time. There's only one guarantee, and we're not getting out of here alive. So you may want to make the best use of your time that you got. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
It only gives you one trip around.
And it can be a short one if you don't pay attention.
Yeah. Now, all these guys on the screen live in northern climates, and they burn a lot of firewood. We live in western North Carolina, and we could be average 30s one week and 70s the next. I can't give away free slabs. People down here don't want to burn firewood. They've gotten lazy.
I can't give away slabs up here either because people are too lazy. They don't want to deal with them.
Yeah. I'm like, all you got to bring me a dump trailer and show up when I told you to be here, and I'll take 2 big grapples on Bertha out there, and you'll go home with 12,000 pounds of slabs.
Yep.
And all you got to do is do what, and maybe split a third of them, and you got stove wood, firewood.
See, that's funny. We can't even keep them here because they come get them from us by the truckload.
No, we've got a pile.
You live in a cold climate.
Yep.
People around here, they live in the heat pump climate. Very,
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, if we had natural gas here, I might not burn firewood. If I could heat my house for $30 a month, I might not fool with it.
There's another North Carolina boy right there, Yadkin Valley Outdoors, Jason Phoenix. He's the one that does the cooking wood, and he's got a tree service, so he's in North Carolina. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know, the slabs. We were looking at it, and Dave and I, when we cut off this tree job, we just pushed it into a burn pile because he had a burn pile already, and we were looking at him, and I said, it's kind of a waste to do that. I said, camping season's coming up. I said, and even if we got $100 a cord out of them, if we just cut them to 16-inch length, it's $100 more than we had if we don't burn them.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, is that you couldn't take your slabs and make a lower quality firewood, because you're going to get a little more bark with slabs than you get with a round log, and put it out there and sell it to people on a budget. Yeah, you burn a little bark, but it turns to ash and makes good heat real quick.
Yep. So that's what we're going to do. So the softwood slabs we're going to use for camp wood. And we're going to make a rack with 16-inch dividers so we can just saw down through the dividers, and then we'll pick it up with a tractor and be able to dump them out into a trailer or a bin or whatever. And then we can just scoop and load when somebody wants to come get some. I don't want to fuss with them any more than I have to, but I want it to still be uniform. That's one thing, Gramp, he's always got a 16-inch stick. And when I was a kid cutting firewood, if you didn't have that stick, he'd wrap you in the knuckles with it and say, "Here, you want this?" Yeah, I'll take that.
So, Russ, do you also make fire starters or no?
I do. We make fire starters and ship them all over the country. Actually,
Nice.
We take our sawdust from our firewood production, and I've got screens, and we dry it on the screens next to the wood stove in the wintertime. Dry the sawdust out just as dry as we can get it, and then we mix it with soy or beeswax, depending on which fire starter we're making. Our beeswax ones are food grade, so those are good for your barbecue smokers and all that. They say soy is, but I don't think soy is a food, so I don't put that in the food grade stuff. That's just the regular. Gotcha. Use it, start what you want. But yeah, we ship them all over the country. So,
are you marketing that on Amazon or something?
I sell them right through my Facebook page, and I'll let people put their own advertisement on it and mark them as their own. I mean, as long as I'm getting what I want for them, I'll ship them to you in plain bags. You want to put your sticker on it and tell everybody they're your fire starters, have at it. And I ship master cases all over the country. We've got 4 or 5 or 6 bigger customers that they order 2 or 3 master cases a quarter, which is, close to 1,000 starters, and they put their own labels on them, market them, and sell them as their own.
Come by, I'll give you some sawdust. I probably got 20 dump truck loads.
Well, the sawdust off the band mill doesn't work. It's too fine. The wax doesn't absorb into it. It puddles on top.
Right. Yeah.
So you need the chips so that the wax can actually filter down through.
How about the chips off you mold, or are they too coarse?
Those are probably too coarse. It's fussy. It's a fussy thing.
Yeah.
Andy, somebody's asking about what you guys do with yours.
The softwood where I'm cutting, I built a sawbuck, and I'm cutting those into 16-inch lengths and stacking them and having, we offer it up on Facebook. Usually we have way more than we can deal with right now. So the softwood we're cutting up. My biggest fear is somebody coming onto the property with their own chainsaw thinking they're going to cut up slabs, and they're not doing that on my property because of liability issues. Yep. So we're cutting it up. I offer it for $30 a load. I don't care what size their vehicle is. $30, come and get it. And what I've been doing with people is, if somebody actually shows up, I tell them, give me $30 and you can come all season, all summer long, and reload anytime you want for free, because we got to get rid of it. The hardwood, we separate. I cut it, and then we stack it. And every once in a while, I'll give a load away, but we've got it for ourselves or whatever we want to do.
And you guys are too cheap.
We are.
I wonder if that's Rick right there, John. Hello, gentlemen.
It's got to be.
I did not type that in there.
We're cheap because we're hobbyists, not in business.
Correct. Yep.
My pine slabs I'll sell. I'll sell a white pine slab load, pickup load for $25 if I don't have to cut it. Yeah, if I don't have to cut it.
Rid of around here is for making molasses.
But my the maple and the cherry, maybe a little bit of pine slabs, that's going in my campfire wood. I'm selling that for $600 a cord. And then my oak, I'm not selling, I'm burning. So
$600 a cord.
$600 a cord. Yep.
We got guys around here
maple and
a pickup truck load delivered, stacked for $75. I'm like, I ain't touched it.
Yeah.
That's more than I get from my restaurant wood. My restaurant wood, my expensive wood up here. So you got yourself a market right there. You keep that one quiet. You don't tell anybody.
I sell it just out of a rack. I was watching you build your rack. I sell it just out of a rack like yours. Only my prices equates to $600 a cord.
Wow.
I sell it in everywhere from $8 to $30 at a time.
I guess I got to start building another rack then. We got to have a second one. Something different, see how it works.
You did quit cutting lumber, just start cutting firewood there, buddy.
Right, yeah.
Yep. But in my oak, if I ever get any extra oak, and I don't split it, I just sell the slabs, and I sell them for $400 a cord for oak. But you know what I mean? It's a totally different, place. It's a totally different. My white pine, I'm not selling a white pine board for less than $2 a board foot, straight off the mill, green. there's no way I'm doing it any less than that. And
wow. We're lucky if we get 75 cents a board foot.
Yeah, that's anything.
I couldn't do it.
1x8, 1x10, we're 75. 1x12 or $1. Anything over 12, it's $1.25 or higher, depending on what it is. But yeah.
Well, I tell people on my YouTube channel all the time, don't worry about what somebody else gets.
Correct.
You're in the markets you're in, and you got to get what you get there.
Yep.
Around here, white oak and red oak grow like weeds. They're not worth near as much as it would be to you guys in the north. They have a harder time getting a 36-inch white oak 100 foot tall.
Right.
White oak's outrageous up here.
Yeah.
But
we have no white oak up here in Maine, none.
But the reason you're red oak, I couldn't drive to North Carolina, get a semi load of red oak, pay for it, truck it up here, and sell it at my price and make a profit. You know what I mean? You can't do that. That's why it's down there. And all you can do is sell it down there. That's all you can do.
I tell people all the time, the market you live in, find 3 or 4 or 5 species that you can buy every day from a local supplier, the tree guys, your graders, whatever, and focus your business on what you can get locally.
Yep.
I get people all the time call me, well, I want some sacred cypress. I'm like, dude, you need to call my buddy in Louisiana. They got it down there. They don't have it here in Western North Carolina.
Right.
I can only sell what I can get locally, readily available. And that's all I can do.
Yeah, see, I can't even get a hard maple. Hard maple is a yard tree down here, around here. All ours is soft red maple.
Cooking wood, $1,200 a cord.
Yeah, that's what my bundle would. So if you look at like the 3/4 cubic foot bundles that you see at gas stations and stuff like that, that's what my bundles figure out to is about $1,200 a cord, which sounds great. But there's so much more work in wrapping and handling those bundles and delivering those bundles. At the end of the day, my best money maker is my restaurant wood, because I'm only handling it but the one time and you're done. And it's a consistent business that you can plan on. You may have 1 week they wipe your racks right out and then you sell nothing for 3.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Now, if you live close to a national park, they've changed those rules a few years ago. You can't pull wood into a national park that's not kiln dried. And if you take wood into a park to burn, it has to be a processed kiln dried wood bought from somebody like you.
So Boxcar 75 says, on the roadside stands, do you have any problems with theft or people not paying? In the 7 years that I've done it, I've had 3 people steal. I put it on Facebook the first time. Didn't really find out anything. The second time, somebody took about $175 worth of wood in the middle of the night. And I put something on Facebook and I said that the roadside racks are going to go away if the theft continues because we're not working for free. Well, I had a Firewood customer that I've had for years, stop and drop off a $500 check written to cash. And in the memo, it said, for those that can't help themselves, please put this in your savings account. People need these roadside racks. I called her and I told her, I said, I don't want the check. She said, I didn't ask if you wanted the check. She said, I told you to put it in your savings and take it. So I did. And we've not had but many issues since. I've had IOUs put in the box. I've had people leave their license in the box because they forgot a wallet or something like that. And they said, well, I'll be back. Or I showed up one day and there was half of a $50 bin gone. And I'm like, what the heck's going on here? I opened the box and I looked, and the lady says, I had a Subaru. I thought I could fit it all. I can't. I'll be back. Please don't kill it.
That's super.
So she came back with her Subaru and got the other half of the $50 bin, and she was gone. But, we've got really good people around, and I've been here my whole life, and people know how I feel about stealing. And if you like your fingers and you like your hands, you probably shouldn't touch it if it's not yours. Mm-hmm. So that's worked out pretty good. But yeah, not too much issue with theft. I've heard of some people getting really wiped out in areas, but we don't play that game where I am.
So question up here, does any of you guys use like PayPal, point of sale, the little credit card readers or stuff for customers to pay?
I keep a square. I keep a square reader for the customers that go pay with a credit card.
So because I live right near a university town, I get all the frat boys and frat girls yo, bro, do you take Cash App? What about Venmo, dude? Do you
Correct.
take Venmo? So I have it now, and I've got it, and we have the Cash App and the Venmo on the stand so that they can pay. Because in the spring, when they're having their frat parties and stuff, they'll come up and wipe out my roadside racks and buy it all. And you know what? If you want it, you can have it. Go for it. You know,
but bonfires, right?
yeah. Something to drink beer around and be foolish. I mean, we were all that age at one point.
Yeah.
I haven't had any problem. I've had people ask for cash or Venmo, and I'm like, no, but I will take a credit card. And most everybody nowadays has a credit debit card.
So I'll tell you that Blake Fishing 207, his dad has a TikTok channel, and Blake started a small YouTube channel. He bass fishes, and his older brother, likes anything with a diesel engine. So he started his own YouTube channel, and they follow along with all my stuff. And I think it's great to encourage anybody young to do any of this stuff, because if we don't have the young guys getting any, inkling of what's going on here, if we keep all this in knowledge to ourselves, it's not going to work. So when you come to the logging shows, if you see me, look around for the kids, because I've usually got the kids with me, and we're running equipment, because they've got to figure out how this stuff works. They've got to get their hands on it. They've got to see what's moving, how it goes. And then once the parents see that this kid can run a piece of machinery and he's producing a valuable product, then they come over and they say, hey, what's he doing over there? And they start looking, and all of a sudden we're talking about a firewood processor for the family, or we're talking about a logging winch for the tractor. It's getting the younger people involved.
Well, I tell people that's the secret to YouTube. Do something you enjoy, something you're passionate about, and teach. Most all the videos we do, I don't just film us sawing, because I consider that to be boring. If we're sawing, we're sawing something that I can teach something, either the style, the technique, the species, something.
Yep.
That if it animates me, then I can hopefully get that across on the screen and give somebody some helpful advice.
See, Robert's picking. He says, I got the equipment to do away with fingers. I'm missing half of it. And it wasn't because you put your hand in the wrong spot. It was an actual freak accident. I put a block of wood in the log splitter, and it had ice on both ends of it. When it came under pressure, it slapped up out of the splitter at my face. So I put my hand up to block my face, and it slapped my hand off the wedge. Pinky gone.
I feel your pain. I miss one too.
So there's one in every group. It's just a smaller target. I never smash that pinky anymore. I haven't hit one. We still take that Southern cash. I know there's some different currency in different places, and I'm okay with barter and trade system, and I like some of that different currency. I had a Firewood customer, Evan. He was a good old boy. He's passed away now, but I always got choke cherry brandy as part of my payment for Firewood from Evan. And boy, I miss that stuff. I haven't had any for a long time, and I always look forward to his phone call in the fall. And there's people that we trade beef and pork, and we trade services, whatever it may be. That's what's missing in the United States, as far as I'm concerned, is the small businesses like the 6 guys sitting here right now. They all have a small business. They have a service that they can provide to the local community. And if everybody in that community did the same thing, and you swapped and traded back and forth, we're a whole lot richer than we really think we are.
Well, if this country keeps going the way it is, it may be back to the barter system.
I think it's coming sooner than later. I'm just hoping that there's still enough of us around that have taken the time to teach our kids how to take care of themselves, that they'll be able to do it. Because if you look around at the world right now, it's not a friendly place. I'm glad that I can take care of myself, and I'm glad I was raised by a God-fearing man that taught me how to take care of myself, because the world is not fun.
Yeah, we've raised a couple generations that didn't have that put into them.
Yes, sir. 100%.
I spent 8 hours with my dad today in a pickup truck driving to Virginia and back, talking the whole time. And we covered a lot of that we've raised 2 or 3 generations that were raised differently than we were raised, with high expectations and high standards. And we were allowed to go and do some things kids nowadays can't even dream about doing.
Sorry, Eric.
We knew what would happen if we didn't do what we told them we'd do and be back when we told them we'd be back.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think about it. When I was a kid, we didn't have cell phones or anything like that. We left in the morning, and we were told to be back before supper. My parents didn't know where we were, and now I got a 10-year-old that if I haven't heard from him in a couple hours or he hasn't messaged me from his tablet or whatever, I don't know where he is. I'm like, I wonder if he's okay. But
I don't know how my mama did it. You know,
Go back in the day at 10 o'clock at night on the news, they would say,
do you know where your kids
do you
are?
know where children are?
Yep. Yep.
Street lights come on. We had to come home.
8 o'clock in the morning, and we might not come home till dark, but we better be home before dark.
That was just in case your parents forgot that they had children.
Correct.
You know,
sometimes they wanted to forget they had children.
Yeah, I got kids. Damn.
All right, Craig, you go first. What's a good starter mill for a hobbyist?
LT15.
LT15.
Easy.
I don't know. My mill is a big hobby mill. It's the biggest hobby mill that Valley makes, but the Green Monster is under 20 grand. It's kind of in the LT15 category. So yeah. I'm partial because I've used it. I haven't used an LT15, so I'm going to go with the Green Monster.
So what's the first thing you got to know is what age are you? You know, are you a young guy and you want to push it manual? You know,
I don't want to push it manual even at my age, but I'm going to do it because that's what I got.
Go with the LT15. Right. You know, you don't want to. As soon as you decide you're too old or you don't want to do it manually, you got to go with the lowest. The lowest one is the LT35. Yep. Hydraulics. Yep. That's the lowest hydraulic mill.
I would say if you're going to be a starter on a mill, get what you want, because don't settle for too small or too big. Get what you want to start with. You know, don't let money be a decision for you, because you won't be happy if you get too small of a mill. You will not be happy if you get too big of a mill and don't like it. You know,
still lots of variables with the hobbyist.
Yep. Right. So my suggestion would be to buy what you want to begin with.
Yeah, buy what you can afford if it's a hobby.
Well, as a hobbyist, we bought the LT15. We've been really happy with it. The things that would have done different in our circumstances, we have the 19 horse, probably would have gone with the 25. And at times, there's times we wish we had gone with the LT15 wide. I guess I didn't say that. We have an LT15. And the wide at certain times would definitely have been nice.
I started with an LT35, and I don't regret it. I had money to pay for it. When I wrote off the lot over there, it belonged to me, and that made making a profit with it a lot easier. And I bought it as a pure hobby. I was still working a full-time job. I just wanted a hobby, and it turned into an addiction. But
it worked out for me, because when I first got home and he had it, I was walking with a cane. I had such bad back problems. I was just over there running the hydraulics for him.
Yep. I started with that mill, but manual version.
Yeah, I think I'm the only one in here tonight with a Hudson. So I've got the Oscar 330 Pro. I really like that. I
looked at a Hudson full hydraulic mill last fall, but it sold before I had a chance to get down and actually put my hands on it.
Well, Tim, tell us about your customization of the Hudson.
Which one?
Well, yours for starter, yours, and then
mine. Well, Rick's got the Franken mill. Well, we had the lift bale put on mine, and then we got it where it self drives itself now. We've got what else did we do that thing? We did so many things, Craig. I can't remember.
Laser.
The what?
Laser.
The laser. Yep, the laser.
Yeah, the laser. I've watched a few of your videos, and I saw that, and I said, man, if I had that laser, I wouldn't be cutting into my backstops all the time on my mill.
Right.
Did I see you with the seat as well, or what was that?
Yeah. We made a riding mill. that wasn't us though. Wood Miser did that way before we did, but we're playing around. I mean, you know how we are with Craig.
Yeah, I think I get a good chuckle out of that stuff.
But yeah, I mean, Rick's quite the inventor, and he's got quite a few things going on with Hudson, and so we're not going to say anything right now, but something's going to be.
Yeah, I got a bunch of those things too, and I got to keep my tongue quiet a lot.
But yeah, we're close with Hudson. We're affiliated with them, so we really like those people. Let's see.
Man, the Circle Sawmill. So there was a Circle Sawmill close to me growing up, and I had an opportunity to watch it run quite a bit when I was a kid. And there's something about a circle saw. There's no other sound, and it's just, for me, it's mesmerizing. If someday when I have enough money and I have the ability, I will have a newer Circle Sawmill, and I'll have another Circle Sawmill set up before they completely outlaw them all, because it's just, you get lumber that you cannot get out of any other style mill. And the sound makes everything worth it.
Yeah, Rick had one for like 20 years.
Yep. So I got a friend, he was on here earlier, Derek from New York, and he and his brother have an antique model engine show that they do every year. And they have a Model T engine that runs I think it's a 40-inch circle blade mill. And not powerful by any means. And then they got a hit and miss 1-cylinder engine that runs the machine shop side of the wood shop. Wow. And they make hay rakes out of ash. And it was the setup, I believe, was his great grandfather's. And just what a cool little operation to know that there's that much time and memories and energy put into that. It's a really cool thing.
Derek was in here earlier.
Yep, he was. You're close to him, I think, in his area.
We're not far.
Yeah, yep. We're not far from him. Well, God bless you with the Alaskan mill.
Talk
about some work.
That's what you got to have, though.
Absolutely.
We've got a guy up our way. He's got twin, I think they're 3120 Husqvarnas with a 7-inch bar between them, 7-foot bar between them.
Wow.
And he'll go in those big giant yard trees. He slabs them off, and he'll come with a skid steer and take the slabs back, and he does the epoxy tables. So
several years ago, I kept having people ask me to do wide slabs, and I kept having to tell them no. My 35 wouldn't do but 22 inches or whatever. So I went and bought a 3120 and a 6-foot Alaskan mill. The mill was used, but I bought a brand new 3120. I have not used it yet. It's all big slabs. That's and I'm fine with that. I bought a bigger mill. We can do 34 wide. Yeah. That don't fit your needs. We can do 2 slabs, and now you're 68 wide. Okay.
Yeah, they wanted to send a Granberg chainsaw mill to me because we work with Log Ox, and we advertise some of their products for them, and we use the Log Ox cant hook on the mill all the time. It's the only cant hook that I've never been able to break. We've had 2 guys laying off that thing. We actually used the bucket of the tractor as a lever for it one time because we still couldn't do it with 2 guys hanging off it. You can't bend it. You can't break it. We haven't been able to yet. And
we had Zach on here 2 months ago.
Mill, and I was like, holy smokes. I was like, I don't know if I could do the patience for the chainsaw.
I'm going to make you guys feel bad. We're sitting in our sawmill building. There's not a cant hook in this building, and I don't want one. We got a tractor with a thumb for a reason.
Yes.
Yep.
Get that 4-way hydraulics on the front of a tractor. It's so nice.
Dave and I got talking when we started our first sawmill video. I said, listen, we both know that we can use the tractor and a strap, and we can flip these logs, and we can do whatever. I said, let's do this the old-fashioned way. I said, and see what people have to say. And I was right. They tore us all apart. Don't you know you can wrap a chain? You can wrap a strap. You got a tractor sitting right there that you're loading with. I said, guys, what I'm trying to show you is that you don't have to have this stuff to do this, okay? Right. Because you're not always going to have a brand new 60-horse John Deere tractor sitting there. Correct. If you're just starting out, you're not going to have all these fancy tools. So you're going to have to use some leverage. You're going to have to smack a couple of fingers, and you're going to have to swear a little bit, but you need to learn. And it's being able to do that stuff still that makes the difference.
I can remember when we were first getting started mobile milling, getting burnt on a couple of jobs that I took without going and looking because they were quite a little ways away. Got down there, and there's a 24-inch oak log here, and there's a 30-inch log over there, and there's another 25-inch log over there. And I'm like, dude, I'm not setting my mill up 3 times. We took a chain and the pickup truck and drug that log around his yard till we got in front of the mill, and then rolled it up on the mill and milled it.
Yep.
You learn to do with what you got available.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we do firewood different. So when Gramp cuts out of, we have a log truck, they'll drop a pile. We saw all our firewood. You got to move the wood anyway to be able to keep sawing. So we take and stack the rounds in rows behind us because Gramp always said, if you're going to pick something up, be useful with it. Right. And we have so many people. Why are you bothering to stack those rounds? You're just going to pick them up and split them again. Don't you know what you're doing? I had one guy, every video for a year, he ragged on us every time we stacked those. I got an email from that man a year after I started my YouTube channel. He said, I just wanted to email you to let you know I tried your way of stacking the rounds. He goes, it saved me about a whole day on my year's firewood. And I was like, I'm thinking to myself, well, why couldn't you put that in a video? Because everybody's seen you comment on every video saying that it's a waste of time. But he doesn't comment that anymore. But I mean, it's, we've done it long enough. I always tell everybody what works for us isn't going to work for you necessarily. But I can guarantee with the amount of stuff that we've done, we're not doing this to waste time or because we think it's fun. We're doing it because it has a point and a purpose.
Oh, yeah. We used to have
it's
Wilson.
Not how to, it's how we do.
Yep.
We used to have Wilson's Forestland in here with us. He was one of the people on the Roundtable. And he did a video about that, about stacking his firewood in rounds before he split it. He's like, I've got to pick it up and I've got to get it stacked. I can't split it right now. So it's got to be stacked. And then he said, but I don't have to pick it up again. Most of it's already waist high.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or knee high.
Because you can slide it right off the pile onto the splitter. You're not having to bend over.
Right. He said, bending over is a lot of it right there,
Every video I have somebody use a pickaroon, use a pickaroon, use a pickaroon. Listen, the speed that Gramp cuts, I cannot keep up with a pickaroon and keep the wood out of his way. My job is to keep the wood out of his way so that he's not tripping on it. So the other day, I grabbed the pickaroon. My back was sore. I was like, I'm going to try to use a pickaroon. The wood was frozen so solid, you couldn't get the pickaroon to sink into it. It would bounce off. So I was like, you know what? I just threw it, started stacking wood anyway. But it's, it's one of those deals where just because it may be easier doesn't necessarily mean it's right. There's a place for everything and everything has its place, just like TJ Stone said right there. Yep. Summertime when the wood's soft and it's not froze, that pickaroon's nice. You don't have to bend over. We've got the log ox, log hauler. You can reach down. You can pick the rounds up. You don't have to bend over. But I don't like the way it releases. And because we stack in rows, it doesn't work for the way that we want to do. So sometimes these right here are the best tools that you got. God gave you two of them, so use them.
Yeah.
Right. And that, do you do a one of these, not a forestry and sawmill, but a firewood and sawdust or something with guys live? You know what I mean? You do, don't you? You do.
So we go live every Wednesday and Sunday night. So every Wednesday and Sunday we go live and on our YouTube channel.
But weren't you with a group of
so
other
we were
people
part
too?
of the God, Guns, and Sawdust podcast. Ryan Willick and I both were with TKP, Timber Cutter Patriot.
Yep.
Right.
It grew bigger than we thought, faster than we thought, and the amount of time that was getting put into it, we couldn't commit to that time. So we actually sold our portions of the podcast back to Alan, and he's still doing it.
Okay. But the beauty of something like that is that pickaroon for those 6 guys in that podcast, that pickaroon's going to work for 1 or 2 of them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's the same with us is, I'm running this type of mill. He's running a manual mill. He's running a bigger mill. He's running a sawmill operation. You know what I mean? That's how he makes his living. He hasn't sold a stick of wood in 6 months and he's running a hobby mill. But we all get together and when you can put these ideas, it makes it a lot better than
you can learn
just trying to put out a video. You know what I mean?
Look what happened to Rick and Tim. We Tim's like, hey, we're your 3 Timber King guys. Neil, how much have you guys? I mean, that was a bonus of meeting guys and sharing ideas.
Right,
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I like all the sawmills out there except for the foreign-made ones. Okay, I think they're all a great product. I want to put my hands on a baker one day. I've never seen one up close and put my hands on it. I want to do it.
It was behind me at the Typhoon booth at Bunyan this year, and I was watching it run over my shoulder. And some of the features that were on that mill compared to some of the other ones, I was just like, I wanted to get over there, but I couldn't get away from customers. That looks like quite a mill.
Both of the ones they had there are a beast.
Yep.
Now, they're not the cheaper one on the market by any means. They're at the top of the cost market.
No, yeah, they're high production.
Didn't I see an Amish sawmill somewhere? Was that?
Yeah, they had
Bunyan?
a big slabber mill down there.
Bunyan. Yeah.
So Firewood 50 wants to know what we're using for live stream software. What are we using, John?
StreamYard.
So StreamYard. This will let you stream to multiple platforms at the same time.
Up to 10. Yep.
You
now,
can stream.
Russ, did you end up getting Starlink for this?
I have it coming.
Okay.
So I've got a cell phone signal booster in the house that gives me enough to run in the wood yard. So we did a working live this morning, and we ran the saw with Gramp early and went YouTube live.
That was my
like 80,000 views on that live this morning.
Wow.
Nice.
It's crazy. People like watching people work. It's
Well, you're gonna love Starlink. I got it a year ago, and man, I tell you what, it's the best purchase I ever made.
Yep.
I've had it about a year and a half, and in that year and a half, I've restarted my router twice, and both times because we had a power flicker.
Yep.
Other than that,
Yeah. So
it's
we wanted to be able to go live when we were working.
We-
I wanted to do that for two reasons. One, I've got equipment brands and manufacturers that we represent. And when you make a video, you can edit things out in a video that you cannot edit out in a live. And when people see something work in a live and they see it work the same way it's working in a video, it helps to validate the points that you're trying to prove. And it proves that you're not pulling smoke and mirrors. And I tell everybody, if I spend my money on it, or if I'm running it on my channel, that means that I would spend my money on it. Doesn't mean that it's right for you. And I represent multiple brands. So when somebody calls and talks to me, we've got all kinds of questions that we can talk about before we even talk about which machine you're looking for. Right. And then I'm going to show you what I think would be best, whether it's something I sell or not. If I got to send you to Wood-Mizer because I think Wood-Mizer is better suited for what you're doing, I'll send you to Wood-Mizer. I don't want you to waste your money just to buy equipment from me. That's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, I do use the StreamYard to, I use the Starlink for live stream. Yep. No problems.
So yeah, it's, that's one of the things that I like about having multiple vendors that have the same equipment that I can represent is I have different options for people. And I have an engineering background of sorts. I've been in this industry for long enough that I know what's going to break. I know what to watch for. I know what's not a good idea or what might be a good idea. And we try to do a little bit of all of that. And, it works out. I don't know how many people I've talked to and, we've steered them somewhere completely different. They didn't buy from me, but they're still friends, or they'll email me back 3 or 4 months later and say, hey, I'm so glad that I got to meet you. This machine's working great. That means more to me than a check in my pocket or another machine because I sold and I need to get a commission. I want somebody to get what they need because we all work too hard for our money.
Yep.
I've got a family member that bought one of these high volume firewood processors.
Yep.
He thought he was going to get in the firewood business, and he's one of these guys that's into a lot of different things anyway. He said, I bought one. I wish I'd have bought 3. He rents that thing out at a week at a time.
Yep.
He said, I need 3 of them to keep people happy with wanting to rent it.
Yeah, we started renting the Cord King out up here, so I'm the only rental center in Maine for Cord King. And fall season, when everybody's doing their firewood, get a lot of homeowners. They'll take it for a weekend, do their year's firewood in a weekend and be done with it. It gives them a chance to play with a machine. Plus, it's a little easier on their back and a little faster. So,
well, he said he'll have 2 or 3 families go together and rent it for several days.
Yep.
They'll go here a split, here a split, here a split. They'll split everybody's winter worth of wood in 3 or 4 days and bring it back, and they're tickled to death.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Same thing up here. I didn't know if the rental thing would be something that would work or not. And I was really surprised with how quick it took off. So I think it'll end up being something good for them.
I don't need a firewood processor. I'm not in the firewood business. But if there's one available and I can split, we don't burn that much wood compared to you guys, but we're splitting, a lot of cords and I can do it for a few $100 rental. Why not?
Yep. So Ken's comment there, Ken follows around the wood hound community with all the firewood guys.
I love it.
Ken pops up at all the firewood events. He's everywhere. You turn around, there he is. It's like, oh, hey, where'd you go? He's like, oh, I'm here. But Ken's great, so it's always good to see him and catch up with him when we go to the events. He was everywhere this summer. Everywhere I went, he was. So yeah, he's a cool guy.
This other one here, Firewood 50.
Yeah. So what I do, Firewood 50, is I have repeaters. I run my Starlink into a router, and then I have externals that I hook to my router, and they're just repeaters, and it goes all the way out to my my sawmill, which is 200 yards out. So I would think that you could probably do 300 feet, no problem.
So I did the satellite Starlink, so I'll be able to have internet no matter where I go.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to move the satellite out there.
Yeah, I got a mobile unit that hooks right to the vehicle.
Oh, okay.
So as long as we're within 150 or 200 feet of the vehicle, we have internet.
Mine's fixed to my house, but I have repeaters where I shoot it to the sawmill. And
if you got good clear flat property, which we don't have around here, I think my router repeater is good for like 1,500 feet.
Yep.
Yeah.
With no obstructions, but I can be up on the hill 700-800 feet from the house, and I'm still hooked to my Starlink through my repeater.
Eastimate Evo would be a decent machine to rent as long as you got the integrated conveyor with it. The hard part with running a firewood processor would be the hard part with running a sawmill too. Not everybody's a sawyer, not everybody's an equipment operator. So I've had some really good renters that when they rent it, it comes back washed, it comes back greased, it comes back just like it was their own piece of machinery. And then I have other guys that they buy that thing for 2 weeks and they use it like a redheaded stepchild and they bring it back filthy, bent, broken, and wires hanging off it. And I'm like, how in the world did you do this in this period of time?
So what do you guys think about this next question here?
I'll answer first. So we never had a steel chainsaw in our firewood operation ever since the 1980s because Gramp got one, and that was when the exhaust used to come out the chip chute on them. And if you drop them in the snow up here in Maine, they stall. So he did that 2 or 3 times and got tired of that, and it got heaved, and we never had another one up until about 3 months ago. I bought an MS 462 off Saw Suppliers. We work with sawsuppliers.com, and I said, I want to try one. And I got to tell you, I was skeptical, but that is the best cutting 70cc saw I have ever had out of the box, and it only gets better the more we run it.
Don't buy a 500i.
No, I didn't want the 500i because they're hard on fuel, and I don't want a fuel-injected chainsaw.
I got one. Don't buy one because if you ever do, you'll be like, tell me why didn't I buy this 3 years ago? No. It's the meanest, toughest saw I've ever had in my hand, weight, pound for pound.
So Andy, you guys got a 500i, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. But I am running
half a second slower.
Hot saw.
Yep.
It's a beast. I had a guy here the other day that runs, he's got 5 of them. I said, you never run one like this. He picked it up, saw along with it. He said, my saw don't run like that. I said, you ain't got as much money in that saw as I got.
Right. Yeah, so I put my 462 up against my buddy's 500i, and it's half a second slower in a cut for the same diameter tree. And I wanted a carbureted saw that I can work on if I'm having issues. I like to play with my saws. I know how to adjust them. I want to adjust it when it needs to be adjusted.
I'm just the opposite. I want to go over there, bash the bubble, crank it, and go to work. I got a good buddy that's a saw mechanic that I bought it from. If it don't work, he's going to be home.
Yeah, so Ken just asked a question about what we talked about a minute ago. Do you have any damage or misuse with rentals?
Oh, yeah.
I had a guy that took the Cord King for a month, and I spent at least 1 full day a week for the month that he had running back and forth to fix problems with the machines and stuff like that. So it's definitely can be a buyer beware type thing. You got to look at who you're renting to. Josh and Janice, they're moderators on my channel. They just put our discount code for Saw Suppliers. So if you're looking for a Husky, Echo, or Steel chainsaw, 10% off and free shipping. Just put Willey 10 in the discount code, and Saw Supplier will take great care of you. They're a husband and wife couple that opened up a saw shop out of a 1-car garage, and now they have an old Walmart building that they've turned into a storefront, and they sell anything and everything that you could get in an outdoor power sports store. And if you don't see it, call and ask him, and he'll get it for you.
Wow.
So they do a fantastic job.
There's Michael Wilson right there.
Mike.
Wilson's
Yeah,
Forestry.
buy 500 either.
Yep.
About 400.
He's out there in California. Got the Starlink.
So we were talking about chainsaws a minute ago. Gramps' favorite chainsaw is a 359 Husqvarna. He's had bunches of them. And I got him one built by Aaron Lynch. Aaron Lynch builds some really nasty ported saws. Got it shipped here, got it to the house. I gave it to him. I said, needs a bar and chain. He goes, I'll put a bar and chain on it. So he brought it over this morning. And I went to start it because Gramps' shoulders are a little bad, and I didn't want him to have to pull it cold. So I said, I'll start it. It kicked, and when it kicked, I pushed the choke in, and I pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled, and it wouldn't start. He looked at me, so well, that's a real nice new saw. Grabbed his old saw, started it, and went to work. So I set it down. I probably flooded it. Went back while he was running the tank through that saw, and I tried a couple more times. I pulled and pulled and it wouldn't even fire. So I was like, well, it must be cold, or I really did flood it. I'll bring it inside. I'll warm it up. And brought it inside, warmed it up, took it outside, tried to start again. Nothing. I'm like, what in the world? So I flipped it over and I opened the gas cap on it. Gramp never put fuel in it. He thought I pulled it. There was still paper towels in the fuel tank from where he put the paper towels in to suck up the extra fuel, so there was no fumes. I put fuel in it, second pull. The thing fired right up. It runs beautiful. I called Gramp. I said, hey, I said, that saw that doesn't run, I said, does real good if you got gas in it. He goes, what do you mean? He said, I thought you put gas in it. I said, I gave it to you straight out of the box. I said, why would it have gas in it in the box? Oh, he said, I thought you filled it. So I looked really smart on our live stream this morning trying to start that saw with no fuel in it. So it just goes to show that even though you do this for a living, nobody's perfect.
It's called being human.
Yeah, that's it.
You said people like the live stuff, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's it right there. I mean, that was as live as it was going to get because you couldn't hide that it wasn't starting. So see you, Josh and Janice. I'll see you guys tomorrow night on our live stream. But yeah, it was a little humbling to be pulling that thing and not have it fire.
Yep. That'll do it.
You held your composure quite well.
It is what it is. I mean, worse things have happened to better people, so I wasn't worried about it. There was 5 more saws in the back of Gramps' car. It wasn't like we were without. So, hey, Brandon, how you doing? So Brandon's out in Alaska. He has a sawmill and a firewood processor and a family forestry business, and they do a little bit of everything out there. He follows along with my channel. TJ Stone said compression test. It had plenty of compression. It wasn't pulling any easier, that's for sure. But it runs great when it has fuel in it. It only takes 2 pulls to get it running, so that's much better.
Well, I saw something on Still the other day, and I didn't know it was true, but if you take off the cover off the air cleaner, they have a tab in there that says summer or winter.
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yep. The Echo saws are the same way.
Yeah, I was just amazed. So I turned mine around to winter, and I'm like, holy crap, that starts easier.
Well, what it is it's warming your carburetor. So it uses the exhaust to warm your carburetor so you don't get cold fuel all the time. It helps them to run a little more efficient.
I was not aware of that until I saw that, and I'm like, wow.
Okay. You need to switch back in the summer and all, Tim.
Yeah.
That's only for a day. Up there in the Adirondack Mountains, switching back to the summer is like 1 day.
Yeah, I was going to say, we don't get much
winter.
Summer up here. We had rain, 4 days of 90s, and then right back to rain again. So same
and the
thing here in Maine.
Black flies, I'm sure you guys get those.
Yeah, that's the Maine state bird. That's what we say. They sit and wait for the people to come across that bridge in Kittery. They got new feeding there.
They just don't quit.
No, they're terrible. And then usually when the black flies go away and it gets warm enough, then you get the deer flies. So.
Deer flies, horse flies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then the falls, the no-see-ums. We just get it all.
See, they got, what is it that they got down in down south? Gnats or something like that.
Gnats, yeah.
Chiggers.
Oh, those, chiggers, those are in the pond.
Yeah. I experienced those one time. That was enough to let me know that I didn't like that and I didn't need them that bad. Those are worse than no-see-ums. Those things are terrible.
Oh, yeah. They get in, they go in your hair follicle and you've done.
Yep. First chainsaw was a Poolin 3300 with a 20-inch bar. Better have your foot in the handle when you pull the cord. So those old Poolin saws were fantastic saws. My dad's father had a couple big old Poolin saws that we used to use, and they were great.
Well, you laugh. I got a 20-year-old Wild Thing, and it's still running.
So my dad's father, he was the king of Wild Thing Poolin
No
chainsaws. When he passed away, there was about 8 or 9 of those tucked under his bench because he'd always tell me, I got to go tune this up. And the next thing you know, he's got a brand new one coming home from Walmart. What's the matter? Oh, that one needed more work than I wanted to put into it. There probably wasn't anything wrong with any of them, but he just couldn't get them started, so he'd go get himself another one.
Oh, me.
Yep, I had one of those Wild Things. I got it out of a dumpster. Somebody took it back. It had a brand new bar and chain. I guess they couldn't get it put together. They gave their money back, and the store threw it in the dumpster. I brought it home.
Flies.
My kids used it when they were little.
Yeah. So one of the saws that I got given to me was one of the first promotional things that we had on the channel was a Vivor chainsaw, one of the Chinese $100 chainsaws. It's a 62 cc, but it's actually 58. And when I got the thing, it's all plastic. And I was like, this thing's not going to be very good. I have not been able to kill that saw. It starts 2 pulls and starts super easy. And for $100, I mean, you could throw it in the back of the truck and let it bounce around for forever. Who cares? If somebody steals it, who cares? It's a great little saw. I cleared my whole new woodlot with it trying to kill it this spring. I cleared 1.5 acres every tree with that little Vivor chainsaw. Never skipped a beat.
Yep. Well, I tell people, buy a chainsaw for your need. The chainsaw I need here at the sawmill is not the chainsaw a homeowner needs to saw firewood a couple times a year.
Right.
I want the biggest, nastiest thing on the market, because when I crank it up, I'm sawing through a 36-inch oak log, and time is money.
Yeah, Robert, I'll be at the house tomorrow. Just give me a call.
You need one of those Boss Hosses. Let's get the 350 in it.
Yeah, big old 350 V8. Yeah. So when we went to Boonville, New England Pine had their hot saws. They had a 3120 and an 881. I broke the 3120. I broke the throttle on it at the show.
Oh, no kidding.
I carry around a spare throttle linkage with me everywhere I go now, just so that I can say that I can fix it if we break it. But those saws were pretty bad saws, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the whole thing, going around to the logging shows and stuff, and we've been around long enough and our channel is big enough, having everybody recognize you or coming up and asking for your advice, your opinion, or what you think or what you would do. It's nice, but at the same point in time, I tell everybody, it all comes down to what do you really want to do and what do you really need to do, because what I would do and what you're going to do is 2 completely different things. What do you need to do and what are you really looking to get out of it?
Yeah. Nope.
Well, Rick and I were amazed this year because and it was really fun being, like you said, noticed and everything. And people were coming up to us, and we were hanging out at the Hudson booth. We had a little booth out there with them, and they were just coming up and, oh, we watch you guys all the time. And that's a great feeling. I don't care if I don't have 5,000 subscribers. I don't care. Being noticed, that's great. That's cool.
So Chris in the Woodyard, his brother Kenny has been on a lot of his videos and stuff, and Chris has probably one of the biggest firewood channels on YouTube, and his brother wears a shirt that says, I do not have a channel. And he walks around the shows with that shirt on, and people recognize him because of his brother's channel, but his shirt always says, I do not have a channel. And on the back of his shirt this year, he said, my name is Ken.
It's still a weird feeling, guys. I was 200 miles away from home today. We stopped at Cracker Barrel, got something to eat, had a very good meal, very good waitress, and I handed her a card when we got done. I told her, if you get a chance, check out our YouTube channel. She put the card over and said, my husband watches you already.
Yep. Yeah, we went out to breakfast at a local place, a half hour from the house or whatever, and when we were having breakfast, the waitress comes over and she goes, I know this is going to sound really strange, but one of the waiters out back, his dad watches your YouTube channel all the time. Would you sign an autograph for him? And I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I signed it. My wife got a kick out of it. She was taking a video of me while I was signing the autograph. She goes, what are you doing? I said, signing an autograph. She goes, we can't take you anywhere. I said, I don't know. It's, it's weird.
Yeah. It's an awesome feeling.
Yeah, but I mean, as long as you're putting out decent content, you're not misleading people or anything like that. At the end of the day, somebody asked me, what would you do if you couldn't do YouTube or you couldn't make content or anything like that? I said, I'd still have a firewood business.
Well, you talk about original content. I do all of our shorts. Rick does all the long forms. And so I was playing with AI the other day where you can just take a still photo on a short and you can make it into AI. It's like an 8-second AI. And so I did a couple like trout with Rick and I holding a trout. People got so mad. Don't start that crap. Don't do that. Stay original. You guys have been original. Don't do that. And I'm like going, wow, it's just two little shorts. But
well, that was no different than me trying to put music over the chainsaw on some of our long form videos, and they came out with pitchforks and torches ready to burn us down. I got to listen to the saws every day, so I was like, maybe somebody would like some nice music over this or whatever. And it wasn't odd or strange music. It was normal. And man, oh man, they did not like that. Take that music down. Don't do that. And I was like, all right, fine. Listen to the chainsaws. I don't care.
Well, wasn't there a chainsaw song at one point? Somebody
Yep, there is. Yeah, there's a couple of them. Yep, like Jackal.
Yeah, Jackal. That's it. Yep.
Yeah, so that I think I did that in a couple of shorts too, and people didn't like that. We want to hear the real saw. So,
my buddy, I was telling you, does the firewood business. He posted a short last week. One of my log suppliers come in here and asked me about if I wanted some firewood. I said, no, I don't need none of that crap. He showed me a picture of his big 5-foot round oak tree, yard tree. I said, I got a guy down here who does firewood. I don't want to be in the middle of it. Here's his phone number. You call him. You deal with it. And he sent me a video when he dropped that thing off. It was a monster. And he pushed them 2 big butt cuts up in a pile and stacked a lot of rotten wood he had around it and just burned it. And he did a YouTube short on it. Got 500,000 views. He said, I didn't know people in the world could be that mean.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's crazy. So we use snow plows to plow snow up here, but a snow plow makes a great thing to move sawdust around the wood yard too. And I had a video of my buddy with his Ford Super Duty just pushing some sawdust over the pit bank in our old wood yard. Got 3.5 million views on that short, and everybody thought we were idiots and dumb, or you had all the other hillbillies and rednecks that were like, heck yeah, that works great. If you got it, use it, and never thought of doing that. But I mean, half the comments, people were tearing you up, and the other half were congratulating you. Or, I didn't think of that. That's great. I'm going to try that.
Well, John, you remember when Wilson made that ski mountain out of the sawdust?
Yep.
Wilson did that.
Wilson's Forest Land skis down to Sawdust Hill every year.
Yep.
Or used to. He doesn't even sawmill anymore, hardly. He's on the forest.
He doesn't?
He's on the forest a lot.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the whole social media thing, it's hard because people want to feel included, but at the same point in time, you got to have a life too. And, sometimes people don't realize that you've got other things you've got to do other than make videos for them or shorts for them or whatever. And, it can be pressure for us if we're trying to keep everybody happy and want to stay relevant. But I always tell everybody family comes first, and we're going to do what we need to do. And if you don't see us for a while, then, that's okay. We'll still be here. We're not going anywhere. I'll let you know if somebody's dead or gone or something happens. Right. But sometimes we get busy and we got to do stuff.
I tell people all the time, they ask me about YouTube. I said, one of the secrets of YouTube is be you. If people like who you are naturally, it's not hard for you to be you.
Right.
Don't be fake. And if people don't like who you are, don't worry about it. Just be you, be natural, be real, and go on with life. I'm not putting on airs for anybody. It's just, this is me, this is Matthew, and we're at work.
Yeah, so Bill Saflarski in the comments, the next comment coming up, he YouTube did an AI voiceover for me one time, and I didn't click on anything, didn't do anything, but it came up with the weirdest voiceover AI voice and just odd. And everybody, they're like, what's good? Do you know what happened to your video? What's going on? Well, when I played the video on my end, it was me. But if anybody else played it, it was an AI voice. And I mean, just way, way strange. And I still to this day don't know why or why it happened.
Somebody might have hijacked it on you or something.
Well, because up there in Maine, you don't speak English. So
Well, I don't have the Maine accent, so I can
You
do the
do,
Maine
a little
accent,
bit.
but I don't have the Maine accent. We're not going to park the car in the dooryard and go run off
Right.
for the timber, but we can do it if mother says we need to.
In the
Right.
timber.
It probably just saw it was from Maine and figured that's a foreign country, so we
Yep.
got to translate it to English. So
Yeah,
they did
so
an
like
AI translation.
Allen Family Firewood, Phil Allen, he's got a wood miser mill, and Phil's got the Maine accent through and through, thick as thick can be. And somebody's like, "Well, you're not from Maine. You don't talk like Phil does." I said, "Just because he talks funny doesn't mean I need to." I said, "It's not my problem."
There you go. You get
I
enough
went
already.
to Virginia to visit my friend Ryan, and I stopped at a gas station real close to Ryan's house before I got there to get fuel. And I went in and I thanked the lady, and she looked at me. She goes, "You're not from here, are you, darling?" I said, "No." I said, "Why do you say that?" She goes, "Oh," she said, "I just could tell." I said, "Okay, so that's good." She said, "Where are you going?" I told her. She said, "Oh yeah, that's just up the road a piece." She goes, "Y'all have a good day." I said, "Yeah, you too." But yeah, it's funny.
I get a lot of Northerners that make a comment about how I say two befores, and I'm like, I don't know any other way to say it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, William Klein said, "Didn't we make a short using a snowblower on sawdust?" We did. The first time I had my mill up, Dave was using my mill to mill lumber for an addition on his shop, and the sawdust got built up. We were tripping over it, and he's, "Hang on, I got an idea." He had a Toro single stage snowblower, and next thing I know, he's running beside the mill with the snowblower, blowing all the sawdust out of the way, and I made a short of it. I figured it'd get all kinds of views. Didn't hardly get
it's
didn't
weird.
get a spot for views.
Weird. Hello, Joe. How you doing?
Hey, Joe, how's it going?
Welcome in, buddy.
There he is.
Joe Maine,
the sawdust wasn't much heavier than snow was by any means, but the rocks underneath threw a good distance.
That's the best add-on you can do to any mill is a vacuum system, guys.
Oh yeah, keep the sawdust away from the mill. So we were talking already this spring. We want to make a slab and we want to put a brow in for the mill. Just make it out of timbers and make a foldable ramp so that we can roll the logs down onto the mill, but so that we can stage ahead and have half a day worth of sawing sitting next to the mill without having to run back and forth with the tractor all the time. And just anything we can do to streamline it, because where Dave and I both have other streams of revenue and business that we have to take care of, the sawmill is going to be the side hustle for us. So we need it set up, we need it filled, we need it ready to go, so that when we have 2 or 3 hours, we can just get there and go. So that's what we're going to kind of go after, is try to, put a pole barn over it with a roof, so that if it's raining, we can be sawing in the rain. We don't have to be outside in the weather, because neither one of our other jobs we want to be outside doing when it's raining. So if we've got it covered and we got a slab, we can sit there and saw and still be making money even on the bad days.
So however big you want your sawmill shed, make it as big
Double
as
it.
you want. Yep. And then double it.
Yep.
And that's no lie. I'm not kidding.
Yep. We made an 1.5 acre wood yard, and I thought this was going to be all kinds of room. We got room for the tractor trailer to come in, swing around. It's all flat, it's graveled. There's nothing in the way. I already wish it was twice as big.
Yep.
It's just, it
Same
seems like you got so much room and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden you're looking at it once you start getting to use it, and you're like, holy cow, I'm running out of room already. What are we going to do?
Yeah, we just put an addition on mine, so.
Yep.
I don't have a single stack of lumber in mine, and there's no room left.
Yep.
By
the time we bring all the pine and hemlock home that we've got to pick up, we're not going to have any room between that and firewood. We're going to be pretty well stuffed full.
We're gonna be.
Yeah, I've had people think that Maine was Canada too, Robert. I tell them I'm from Maine. They're like, "Isn't that in Canada somewhere?" I'm like, "Well, sort of."
Close.
Maybe if you go back and take geography lessons, you'll figure it out. But it's close.
You're from Maine, eh?
Yeah, right. Yeah, so we got French Canadians up on the border where we are. So Irving Forest Products owns a whole bunch of land in northern Maine on the Canadian border, and they transport timber back and forth from the U.S. to Canada. And you get a lot of little French Canadian truck drivers up there. And when you get them mad, they switch to straight French, and you don't understand a word coming out of their mouth, and they're just red and hollering. But there's lots and lots of those French Canadian loggers up there. And we have a big fair called the Freiburg Fair up here in Maine. It runs the same time as Bunyan does every year. And they have a Woodsman Days at the Freiburg Fair. They have 40,000 people through the gates on Woodsman Day at the Freiburg Fair. So,
Mr.
put
Hicks,
that in
how are you
perspective,
doing
they said
tonight?
there was 12,000 people at Bunyan this year.
Wow.
Shout out to
James
James Hicks. Hello, James.
He just got a membership from my channel.
Did he? Good.
Yep. He was
Oh, there
a
you go.
guest on here. He was a guest on our show. Oh man, what, 6 months ago?
Yeah, I'd like to have him back, John.
Yeah, I know it. Well,
That was a great fun
Yeah,
show.
that was a good
See,
one.
he's putting commercials in his live, so we may have to pay him to get back now. He's not.
Oh man.
Yeah.
He's big time now.
I'm starting to not watch his lives because he's putting all these damn commercials in there.
Straighten him out, John.
I'm trying to straighten him out, but he keeps I don't know, he's fighting me. But I'm on him.
That was a good show. I had a fun time that night.
It's a technology channel, James Hicks, and he was helping us out with the going live and the cameras, and it was a great show. It was a good show.
There's so much with technology. When we were starting the podcast with Timber Cutter Patriot and whatnot, his best friend, it's actually his daughter's husband's father, is one of his best friends, but he did all of our computer and technical stuff and the streaming and all of the audio visual and there was so much that went into that we had no idea, and to do it well took so much work.
Yep. We
That's
we were trying to get a guy on here every month to do like a 15-minute, John Chapman, to do like a 15-minute, just a
Little tech thing.
15-minute tech thing, give me what this microphone does, what this camera does, what this, just anything. And it wasn't really, it wasn't even really for us. It was really for our viewers, because so many of your viewers, nowadays are either have their own channel or at least taking pictures or at least want to do a Zoom with their, kids and grandkids. How do you set up a microphone? So there's so much technology that we figured that would work, but
I usually go see my kids and have my kids help me with it. They usually know quicker than I do.
Right.
I'm to that point now where I'm getting old and they know how to do it better than I do. I don't think I'm that old yet, but apparently I am, because I go see my 10-year-old and I'm like, hey, well, how do I do this? And he's like, Dad, it's easy. All you got to do is this. It's like, oh, okay.
That's pretty bad, isn't it?
Yep.
I'm not looking forward to that day.
It happens quick. I mean, I got twin daughters. They'll be 18 in May. So it happens in the blink of an eye. That's for sure.
I was part of the Signal Corps, so the Army paid me to learn how to do all this stuff.
You guys, most of you are my age, you're a little bit older. How old were you when you got your first cell phone? I was 30 before I ever had my hands on the first cell phone.
Man, I was older than that, I think.
Yeah.
And now you got 5-6-year-old kids are growing up with this technology, and they're not afraid of it.
No, and that's part of the scary part too, though, is that technology at that age. I mean, it takes some of the creativity out of kids, honestly.
It does. It's been pretty.
Kids are meant to go outside and play in the dirt and play with sticks and get banged up, bumped and bruised and stuff like that. That's part of growing up, and I think that that's one of the big things that's missing is when we put all this technology and stuff in front of them. Kids are much smarter now than they used to be, but that's not necessarily the way that they were supposed to learn.
So here's your fun fact for the day. That phone you have right there in your hand has more memory in it than every computer in the world in 1980.
Yeah.
We put man on the moon, and they didn't have near the computing power that I have in my hand. And this is an S21 Pro.
Is that crazy?
Yeah,
It's a Pro.
For sure.
Oh my God, you got a Pro?
Some people don't buy that moon thing.
This is my computer. I got a laptop here. I never touch it. My wife uses it. This is what I do all my business on, all my email, all my invoices.
You having a Pro phone, that's like a homeowner getting a Steel 500i. You know what I'm saying? No, you don't need that. You don't need all that, dude.
You know why I need a Pro? Because I take YouTube shorts, and I may have 50 sticking videos on my phone I hadn't deleted.
Yeah, that's because you don't know how to delete them. That's right.
Did you guys notice on YouTube that they've changed like where you can manage your videos. They've changed that now on your phone. You have to go
I
through
don't do it from my phone.
Studio. You have to go through Studio now.
I don't do it.
Well, I've
from my
always
phone.
gone through Studio to do that.
Do any of you guys know what Firewood 50 is talking about here?
We go live on mobile and shorts at the same time. Yep.
Yep.
StreamYard has that right here built into the StreamYard. So, man, I need to get a sponsorship for StreamYard. It's so easy. So StreamYard is built for anybody who's over 40 and doesn't want to learn all this, how to write code and all of that stuff. StreamYard is a point and click. You know, it's an easy thing to use. And you just click a button and you can go live on YouTube, portrait and landscape at the same time. We did that last month on my channel. And it didn't work out real well at all. I forgot to click subscriber chat only. Yeah, and we had quite a few wackos. So this month was Two Brothers Outdoors starting to do it, and they went live on their YouTube and Facebook.
No, not on Facebook. It wouldn't let me. I had to delete it.
Don't feel
really?
bad. I posted the link to last month's live stream on my phone. Posted the wrong link. It never went live.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Because I wasn't here to do it for him.
Tech support was gone. I had to do it myself. So
Oh no.
Yeah, whenever it's messed up, it's because I wasn't here to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe you should get a pro phone.
A pro.
Pro. Craig, how you doing, Craig?
How you
wants to know
doing,
how you're doing
Craig?
because you're not saying anything. You and Andy have been over talked.
Yeah, Linux is
Craig.
definitely easy mode.
he can't tell me he's sleepy because it's only 8 o'clock out there, or 7 o'clock, right?
8:05.
8:05.
It's not that old out there.
By 5 o'clock. So what are you doing out there, Craig? What are you sawing? What are you doing?
I'm doing a lot of one by stuff.
One by
A lot of TNG, a lot of 1x8, and a lot of 1x6.
actual one by or 3/4 or
It's 7/8 off the mill and a fat 3/4 off the planer.
Mm.
I've done probably a couple thousand boards last 2 months.
Wow.
12
works.
footers
By yourself.
and then
by myself.
No help.
and then tongue and groove them.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh,
What are you doing? What are you doing with your garage? What are you doing with your
A
garage?
week ago, called me. There's a bad need of some 1.5 TNG. And I told him, I said, we can run it. I said, but you're talking a couple months time. I cut it, dry it, and process it. He said, no, I got to have it this week. Would you run some Lowe's wood or store-bought wood? So he went and bought a rack of 2x8s and got a good price on them, real good price. Brought them to us, and Matthew and I run them through this motor, left the top and the bottom alone, and just TNG both sides of it for horse stalls. And he was tickled to death.
I did that 2 winters ago. I did some 1x10, some 2x10 siding, Doug fir, and we ran 3 units, 160 pieces in each unit.
That's another thing you can do with a motor.
That's the value added part that we were talking about earlier. It's it's
Support
being able
equipment.
to provide that service for a customer when they're in a pinch. So
Mhm.
You're doing something with your garage. I want to know about your garage, Craig.
What
Your
that's
garage.
my garage is my sharpening and my molder planer room for now.
Have you cleaned out Mother's front yard? yet?
Yeah, I thought you.
I have to keep the garage somewhat clean because the mill's right there.
I thought you were. Oh man,
Where's this
Craig,
going? Where's it going, John?
his wife is going to kill him. He's supposed to clean out the garage for her so she can park her car.
Hey, dude, she's in the other room. Keep it down.
I know, that's what I'm
Come
saying.
on.
Don't make us get her on here again.
Yeah,
No.
I ain't giving you any more $20.
Andy, come on, Andy. What are you doing?
What are we doing? We
Yep.
haven't done squat. We're taking it easy this year with the cold weather. About all we've been doing is shopping for an RV so we can start going south in the wintertime. So
Shopping for an RV.
Well, don't stop in North Carolina. Keep going till you get to Florida.
Go
we've
visit
been
Neil.
looking at Tennessee, Eric. Is that not
Is
far
that some of
enough?
that southern hospitality? Y'all get on out of here.
Oh, we keep getting the halfbackers.
I was in
They come from
Tennessee.
y'all and go to Florida and move about halfway back.
I was in Tennessee today, and the river was froze over. Okay, you're not going far enough
No
south.
way.
Yeah.
That's
You can
still warmer than here.
You can stop by south of the border, Senor.
I tell people all the time. I said I understand moving out of the cold, but I would not stop until it didn't get cold no more. Miami was not far enough south. I would have to go a little bit more.
I was looking at Florida the other day. And I was appalled at aerial views of Florida. There's no countryside there anymore. It's totally developed.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I'd go nuts.
unless you go like north central Florida, that's about the only spot left.
Yeah, the Panhandle was about it.
Moving in, the whole state's just. My daughter lives down in Melbourne, and we've been going for what 10
years.
10 years or more, traveling back down there, and every time we go, it's just boom, bigger. To go back next year, boom, bigger.
I had no idea it was that developed. It really surprised me.
Yeah.
8 degrees in northern Missouri.
That's cold for Missouri right there.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
I thought he was talking
year-
about the degree of his bandsaw blade.
So that would be 8 degrees in northern Missouri.
Yeah, last year I went to North Carolina to show off the new log splitter when we got our new Allwood to a couple of potential customers. And when I got down there, they were calling for snow. And one of the guys that I stopped and saw, he goes, listen, he goes, if you want to get out of here, he goes, you better go. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, we're getting like 2 or 3 inches of snow. I was like, yeah, okay. I said, what's the deal? He goes, they'll shut the roads down. He goes, you won't be able to go nowhere. And I said, what? I said, for 2 or 3 inches of snow? He goes, oh yeah, he said, they'll shut everything right now. And he said, you got to get going. He was like shooing me out to get me on the road to go. And I'm like, it made sense because on the way I came down through and they rerouted me in West Virginia for snow and traffic. And I had to go a back way. And when I got there, there's 2 sheriffs sitting here at the pass coming into the mountains. And they stopped me and they said, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to get to North Carolina. And he goes, where are you from, boy? I said, I'm from Maine. He goes, what are you doing all the way down here? I said, I went and got this log splitter. I said, I'm going to North Carolina to show some guys. He's like, all right, well, hell, he goes, here's what I'm going to tell you. He goes, you know how to drive in this snow. He goes, these idiots down here don't. Nope. He goes, so if you see headlights, he goes, get over and get out of the way. And I'm thinking, what is he talking? There was like this much snow on the road. I'm like, okay, fine. I said, good. He goes, all right, go on. He says, you're good. I got driving. It looked like the apocalypse. There was cars and trucks off everywhere.
Yep.
I was like, what in the world is going on?
Yep. The biggest difference down here, how many buddies of yours have a truck with a snowplow?
All of them.
Just everybody.
There's 3 in this county, and they're all owned by the state DOT, and they don't know how to run them 3.
It was just the weirdest thing to me that 2 inches of snow, we're shutting roads down, and there's cars off everywhere. I'm like, what is going on?
Oh, they ain't got no sense. They won't slow down.
Shoot. Go to Georgia, half an inch, and they got the entire state shut down.
I get 2 inches of frost here.
Yeah. We get some cold here, and you get we call it hoarfrost in the ground. It drives the frost. It looks like icicles sticking up sideways from the ground and crunch under your feet.
Yeah.
No, we get the
Russ, I was watching your build on your giant firewood rack or for your sales rack. Your shop is heated. How do you heat your shop?
Oh, I got ragged for that too. That's not my shop. That's my buddy Dave's shop. Pellet stove. So guys in the background saw that pellet stove and they go, a firewood guy with a pellet stove? What's going on? I said, it's not my shop, guys. I said, they said, but it's your friend, isn't it? I said, doesn't matter. I said, it's not my shop. I told David, I said, you got to put a friggin' wood stove in. He goes, why? I said, because they're bitching at me because you got a pellet stove in the background. I said, it's not my shop. But yeah, they got all over me because there was a pellet stove in the background. I said, hey, the pellet stove's running there. We're drying the mill off, getting ready to go. and getting it thawed out to service it. And they're like, pellet stove? What kind of firewood guy runs a pellet stove? And I'm like, it's not my job.
Hey, they're little mini logs.
Yeah, they're just little teeny ones. So after that, David and I got talking about it. He goes, well, I got the tractor. We got all kinds of sawdust. He goes, we ought to try to make some pellets. So somebody commented on one of my Facebook shorts about the pellet stove. And I said, that's fine. I said, you can follow along. We'll show you some more interesting ways to waste your money. I said, we're thinking about making pellets. I said, if it doesn't work, I said, you can buy a setup and not have it work too. I said, we can waste money together. The guy's like, well, that's not very funny. I said, neither was picking on me for a pellet stove. I said, but you're commenting. As long as people are willing to keep it fun and light, I don't mind. But if you're going to curse and swear and stuff like that on the channel, I just block you and you're gone. But as long as everybody's in good fun, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. If you don't have a thick skin, don't get on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Now, TikTok is the worst. If you really want to find out what's wrong with you, start posting on TikTok. That's like the Wild West. The comments that come out of there, my God.
Yeah.
Don't get rude and nasty, because it's my channel, and I got that button that says delete.
Yep.
And I can't do that, but I'm not going to let the good people that watch my channel have to read that garbage.
No, and I'm not a little guy by any means. I'm about 300 pounds, and I get all these comments. You look like you're one cheeseburger away from a heart attack, or you need to swing that axe a little more. So I had a guy today. He got on my live, and he was saying, hey, he goes, you need to swing that axe a little more and put that log splitter away. I told him, I said, listen, I said, anytime you want to come up to the yard, I said, you grab an axe and I'll grab an axe. I said, the first man to stop swinging loses. I said, I guarantee it won't be me. I'll kill myself before I lose.
That's great. I'm gonna have to remember that. One cheeseburger from a heart attack.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, it's crazy. And then we go to the shows, we go to some of these charity events and stuff like that, and I always bring a Fisker's axe with me. I love to swing by hand. Yeah. And a few people actually see me swinging and they're like, holy cow, you're serious. I was like, I like to swing an axe. I said, I don't give up and I don't stop. Ryan Willick, my friend in Virginia, he had a reel of me that went viral of a piece of red oak. It had a knot in it, and the axe was just bouncing. And I was swinging. I was hitting the same spot every single time, and it wouldn't go. So I flipped it over, and of course, when I flip it over and I go to swing once, that one swing split it open. He stopped the video right where I flipped it over. Everybody was watching that video. Oh, another retard with an axe, doesn't know what he's doing. Look at him swing. Somebody should tell him that he's not going to split that by hand. Somebody should tell him they make a log splitter. I mean, it was the comments. Ryan was laughing till he had tears running out of his eyes. He goes, man, I think I got a few more pieces over there for you to go split. He said, let me go see if I can find them and I'll roll them over. I said, frick you.
Let me tell you, if you got some good straight grain wood and a man big enough to swing a Go Devil, he'll outbust a wood splitter as long as he's man enough.
Oh, yeah.
Especially up here when the wood's froze. When the wood is frozen, it doesn't even matter if it's yellow birch with twisted grain or anything. It pops open so easy and so fast. When I first got into business, I had a guy working for me. His name was Alex. And if you stood the rounds up and laid them out for him, he could split a cord of wood in a third of the time that it would take with the log splitter. So I'd stand him up and he'd just start swinging, and he'd keep swinging. He'd keep swinging. He'd keep swinging. I'd stand him up. They needed to be resplit, and he didn't stop. When the cord was done, we threw it on the truck and we left.
Yeah.
I love swinging by hand.
Speaking of rude comments, right here, this one, Wilson's Forest Land says it was 60 here in the mountains in Southern Oregon today. 60.
I had 6. Does that count?
Rude.
How rude. How rude. Come on, Michael.
I don't know whose channel he's watching, but somebody please block that dude. That is rude.
Michael.
I hate to tell you, last week, Monday, it was 70.
Yeah, I know.
It was sweating. It was bad.
Well, in
So
all,
we went from 70 to 20 in the same week.
well, it was 45 here, Eric. It felt like summer.
Cyberg said most splitters would choke at knotted red oak. What I find is most guys that use log splitters don't know how to read the grain of the wood that they're splitting. And if most people really knew how to read the wood, they'd find that they had a log splitter that would split everything that they could possibly put on it if they knew what they were doing. And that's one of the things that's so hard to show with a camera is when you have a piece of wood and you put it on a splitter, to be able to show how that's positioned to get it to split so that you're not breaking the machine and you're not busting your back to do it and everything else. There's a lot more to it than just putting it on there and hitting that lever and saying go. Because I've seen guys bust machines left and right that just threw it up there and thought it was going to go. So,
yeah. Or you can overbuild them.
Yep.
Dad built one 45 years ago. It's on a big 12-inch I-beam, PTO off tractor. You can take a 12 to 16-inch log, turn it sideways, and snap it in half.
Yep. So Bobby from Allwood, he's all about custom. He's all about big. He's all about building you what you want if you want to stroke the check for it. So he had a guy come to him, and he said, I need a big log splitter. He goes, turbo diesel, 50, 60 ton, true split pressure. He goes, something big. And Bobby's like, oh, cool. He goes, well, how many cord a year do you split? And the guy's like, about 10. He goes, so what do you need a splitter like that for? He goes, tax write-off. So he built him a great big splitter, and he's built a few more of them. They called it the Redwood series. It runs on a 70-horse turbo diesel through a 16-way wedge, and you can put the wood the wrong way in it and hit the foot pedal, and it just blows right through it. It never slows down. The thing is, it's unreal.
Yeah, what Dad's got's way overbuilt, but we got it gated down where it's it's dependable, it's slow, it's steady. You don't want a splitter that's going to go wham.
No,
when you
my splitter goes like that. My splitter is a 2-second cycle end to end through an 8-way wedge. It's the fastest commercial splitter that's built on the market right now. And I'll tell you, if you're not paying attention with frozen wood, it'll catch your attention real quick.
But you don't have your fingers in there loading it. It's going in a chute. Right?
Oh, no, my fingers are in there loading it. Watch the videos. You'll cringe with everybody else when you watch it. They're right there. You got to get that wood in that trough. It's not going to load itself. So, but, that's one of the things. We went live today, and we did a cord of wood just with the 4-way wedge, resplits, and however it came off. We did a cord of wood in about 30 minutes. Yeah. And that was just 2 of us just kind of fooling around, not pushing hard.
But you don't run that on a day that you're not feeling good.
No, you don't. And it's got a cup holder. That cup holder is not for beer on that splitter. I can guarantee you, because a couple beers and you're going to be missing a hand or some digits or something.
Yeah. That's the way I look at splitting wood with pop splitter. If you're having a bad day, go mow some grass.
Yep.
Come back when your faculties are all good and you're calm, because you got to be 100% focused, putting the wood in there, fingers out of the way. The guy that's running the handle, his job is to run the handle and do nothing else,
Yep.
Because bad things happen quickly, Show you finger there.
So that was the other thing I wanted to tell you. How do you sell your firewood? By the cord, by the truckload,
so we sell it by state of Maine law. It has to be sold in cord increments, no matter which way you break it up.
Yep. Okay.
And I actually got in trouble with my roadside firewood racks because it wasn't labeled in cord increments. So if I call it campwood instead of firewood, I don't have to sell it in cord increments anymore. I can sell it in whatever increment I want.
How stupid is that?
Yep. So our wood beside the roads is campwood. Even though it's all hardwood and it's firewood, it's campwood. So we can just put $5 bin, $50 bin, whatever. But as a general rule, all of our wood's sold by the cord. Our dump trailer holds 1.5 cords, and it's state measured and legal. So state of Maine says 180 cubic feet is a loose thrown cord. So as long as you know what the dimensions of your trailer, your vessel are, you can figure out what a cord of wood is, and you don't have to stack it in the trailer. That's one thing. The boys down south don't like that. They get real uppity when you have just a loose load of wood in a trailer, because I wouldn't buy no wood from no man that ain't going to stack it and tell me what's in it. And y'all ripping people off. How do you sleep at night? And I'm like, listen, I've been selling firewood for 10 years. We sell 500 or 600 cord of firewood a year. I have one complaint a year, and I can tell you who the complaint's going to be before the wood comes off the truck. Other than that, there's no complaints. So, it's knowing what you're doing and paying attention to it. And, it's, like I said, we have very few complaints, and I can usually tell you who that complaint's going to be before I get it.
When you take a dump trailer or dump truck out to somebody's house that you haven't dealt with before, do you get paid before you hit the button?
We do. Yep. Cash in hand. Okay. Cash in hand before that leaves the trailer, because I got burnt by that when I first started my business about 10 years ago. I had a lady, we dumped out, I think she bought 8 cords of wood. and it was right around Christmas time. I got all the wood delivered. She said she was going to get me a check. I came back with the last load and dropped it. And I said, I'll take a check. She goes, oh, I don't have the money to pay you. She said, I'm going to have to pay you every month. And I was like, well, I'm just going to load the wood back up and I'll take it. I said, you can get what you can pay for now and we'll go. She goes, oh, you can't do that. She goes, that's my wood now. I said, no, it's not. I said, you didn't pay for it. She goes, well, it's on my property. So I was like, all right. So I called the forest ranger up here and I said, look, here's what's going on. He said, she's right. He goes, that's her wood now. He said, if she's willing to pay you somehow, she says you should do that. So I said, whatever, fine. So I did that. And she got done paying for all of her wood. And she goes, so now that we've done this, she goes, can I be put on the list for next year as like a preferred customer? And I said, no. I said, you can find somewhere else to get your firewood. I said, this was during Christmas time. I took money from my family and my Christmas funds to pay my help that I had at the time. I said, somebody had to pay for that. I said, I'm all set. I'm not doing that again. I said, we're good.
Yeah.
So it's okay to fire a customer. That's what somebody needs to realize too. You don't need every single customer. Find the customers that use you well. A customer will become a friend long before a friend will become a customer.
I tell people all the time, trust your gut. When you're talking to a new customer, if y'all's personalities mesh, do business. If you're sitting there and something just don't feel right, trust your gut and say, no, thank you. I don't think we can do business. Here's a guy down the road. Call him.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Firewood 50, it's okay to put a little bit more in your trailer, but don't ever sell yourself short just to try to make a customer happy. If you know what your measure is and you know you got a good measure, don't feel like you got to go above and beyond to give somebody something extra.
There you
There's
go.
the man right there, Dan and Jay.
They love your spenders.
I got my spenders on too. Spenders are great for a fat boy. Keeps
Yeah,
you from selling drugs while you're bending over picking firewood up.
There's nothing wrong with giving people a little extra, and I teach that on our YouTube channel a lot. Somebody's coming to pick up some green lumber or some kiln-dried lumber, and they want 30 or 40 boards. If I've got a couple that maybe don't make the cut,
Yep.
we get done, I'll pick them a couple up, slide them back in the truck, tell them guys I appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful day.
So while we're talking about that, I'll let you know something that happened with firewood a while back. We used to put all the little slivers in with the firewood. So when you're splitting the pieces that are smaller that would be kindling or whatever, we used to put it in the load and send it.
Kindling wood.
And I had people that would complain. So I had enough people complain. I said, you know what? I said, we'll pick it out as we're going. We started picking it out and we just sent clean wood. Then I'd have people complain because they didn't get any kindling. And I'm like, all right. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm selling kindling roadside now. In our roadside racks, I sell kindling just about as fast as I can make it. So I said, all right. I said, we're just selling clean firewood. We pick it all out. So I'd tell them, no, we don't do that anymore. And they'd say, oh, well, do you sell kindling? So yeah, we sell kindling. Oh, great. I'll take 3 or 4 bags or 5 bags, whatever it is. And I'm like, you could have got it for free if you weren't complaining before, but now you complained and now you're paying for it. So
Now, you get anything, we call it the South fat, lighter wood.
Yep.
It's
Fat
pine
wood.
stumps that they brought it down to just the pine rosin. That's all that's left.
Yep. Yeah, we don't get fat wood up here. We get a lot of cedar. So we use a lot of cedar for kindling up here. So we'll use cedar, but all of our kindling that I sell is just hardwood slivers that come off when we're splitting. When we're running the multi-way wedge, if you get a piece that's 16 inches long and it's just real thin, I toss it off the side. It dries so fast because it's split so small anyway. We just, as quick as we get it, we sell it.
Yeah, down here, the southern yellow pine, when you cut the tree off, if you'll leave a tall stump, you can come back 8-10 years and it's just pure lighter.
Fat lighter. Yeah, I miss that down south.
And you
nice.
can make a match.
Yep.
And
Just light it. Yep.
It's like kerosene. It just lights right off.
I was going to say turpentine, but yeah, like kerosene.
But it only comes from our southern yellow pine. The Virginia pines, forest pines, they just rot. They never turn into lighter.
The white pine will do it around the knots of the.
Yeah, around the knobs.
Yep.
The knobs will get super saturated. I saw a white pine every now and then that's almost orange. It's got so much
sap
pine
in it.
sap in it.
Yeah, we had some of that white pine that we were cutting for the roadside racks. Some of the sapwood on the outside was so heavy you'd go to pick the pieces off when you were squaring your cants up. And I mean, some of those pieces are so heavy you had all you could do to move them. Just so full of sap.
You set them out there on the road and you get little drips that run out, look like honey pots.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the skin on the yellow birch will also light anytime.
Yeah, so dry. We get white birch and yellow birch up here, and the bark is really good for that. So I have to laugh. My stepson was in Boy Scouts, and we went to an event in February one time, and it was raining and snowy and sleet and freezing rain. And a lot of these parents, they weren't outdoor parents. You could tell they're all, I was like, we got to start a fire. And the guy's like, how are we going to start a fire? Everything's soaking wet. And I was like, this is Boy Scouts, right? And he's like, yeah. It's like, well, I said, hold on. So I showed him the birch bark, and I showed him, if you get in behind a dead cedar or softwood, the material that's in behind still dry behind the bark. And I started a fire, and the guy's like, man, he's like, that's really cool. One of the dads is like, do you think you could teach me to do that? And I was like, I just did. And he's like, yeah, but I know, but I want to watch again so I can take notes or something. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So we started another fire. So we had a fire building class with the kids, but I'm like, this is kind of like basic survival needs here. And,
this is basic stuff on your man card. Okay.
Yeah. Everybody did that growing up, didn't they? No.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, my 10-year-old son, he goes out in the backyard and makes fires all the time. Dad, can I go make a fire? Yeah, go ahead. Don't burn the forest down. Have fun. And
my brother's still a pyromaniac or whatever.
And yeah, it's
I haven't met a Sawmill guy yet that's not a firebug.
Pyromaniac. Yeah.
Yeah.
John, every time he used to cut, he'd have a fire.
I still do. I love a fire going like that.
Fire up the mill, he'd have a fire.
We always used to have a fire when we were working in the woods, skidding logs and stuff. We'd have a fire out on the landing, stop and warm your hands up.
Yep. Stuff like that. Feet up, you ain't got a fire.
Yep.
I was sitting in the hunting shack, which has a heater and it's propane and all that. And somebody comes out and they're like, why do you have a fire going over there if you're in a heated shack? I'm like, I don't know. I might want to go sit around a campfire. They're like, well, you're not going to get any deer with a fire going.
Yeah, for Christmas this year, my wife got me a custom-made fire pit. Guy makes fire pits out of like the big propane tanks.
Yep.
And it's got a deer cut in it with an outdoor scene that's called Buck Fever. The coolest gift I've got in a long time. Guy makes custom one of things. He'll never make two of the same thing. And she saw it and thought of me and got that for me for Christmas. And that'll be out in the backyard for a lot of years to come.
Yeah, no, that'll work. That will work.
Cool.
What else? What else are we going to cover with you tonight?
We've covered quite a bit. It's been pretty busy in here.
We have
a lot of people in here.
That's good. That's what we wanted.
Absolutely.
We could still all have a conversation with the six of us, but it wouldn't be quite so fun.
For sure.
And that's what it felt like in my first lives. I had 2 or 3 people, and I felt like I was talking to the same people. And then it started growing. It's like, hey, all right, now we're getting somewhere.
Now you can't keep up with them.
Yeah, that's all right though. That's the way we like it. I do a pretty good job of keeping up.
Yeah,
as long as there's less than about 150 people in there, I can keep up pretty quick and go pretty good. It's harder when there's 6 other guys here because everybody's got to have a chance to talk and move and everything. But when it's just you and you can kind of watch the chat, if you pay attention and stay diligent, you can follow right along with it pretty quick.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's what I was telling you at the beginning. It's hard when there's 6 people here.
Yep. But no, I appreciate you guys having me on and appreciate being able to pick your brains a little bit. Like I said, the sawmill business side of this stuff is a new thing for us. I mean, I'm not new to business by any means, but the sawmill side is something new. And I think at some point I'm going to go out and spend a week or so with Craig and work with a real sawyer and try to figure out what I don't know. I know Bruno Menard, he's in New Hampshire. He's invited me down to go run his mill some with him too. And anytime I can pick somebody's brain that's done it more than I have, that's all I need is to just get an idea. Once I get an idea, I'm dangerous and I can figure the rest out on my own through hard knocks most of the time.
Oh, we need to get you hooked up with Jeff over there in Nova Scotia too. He built that
Jeff Hogue,
the log father.
Yep, I'm gonna go up and see Jeff and Kenny. So Kenny's Open Air Adventures, he's in Nova Scotia, or Firewood Adventures now is his YouTube channel. But I'm gonna go up and see Jeff and Kenny this summer at some point. I wanted to get up there last year, but just got too busy. So
I see Jeff just put a conveyor together.
Yep. Yeah, he just got a range road conveyor. So
don't need that.
Matches Edger.
Yep. Yeah, he's actually converting his sawmill over to hydraulic right now, I think. So he's trying to turn his sawmill hydraulic. So
well, I hope to see you at the Woodsman Stage this year. You guys planning on going there?
Oh, we'll be out there.
Good. We'll see you out there then.
I don't know who's traveling with me this summer. It depended on the show who was with me last year, but my son likes to go because he likes to get all the free hats and all the stuff he can get at all the booths when he goes around. So he's always coming back with something.
Tell him to stop by the Hudson booth. We got a lot of freebies for him.
Yep. So, but yeah, no, it's the shows are a good time. They're busy. Working them as a vendor now is much more time consuming than when you're just walking through them to check them out yourself.
Right.
We shared a site with Woodland Mills at Bunyan, and dude, they handed out 3,000 hats.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went with 2,500 channel stickers, and I came home with about 10. So
cool.
You know, if they want them, they can have them.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Have you guys noticed on the Oak Island on television, the guys are wearing Woodland Mills hats?
Mills hat.
Yeah.
There's probably something coming. They probably got to mill a mine shaft to get down to try to find that gold that's not there. So
they're never going to find that gold down there.
Oh, no.
I just don't know how they're not hitting the ocean. I mean, that island can't be that deep, can it?
it's TV. They've dug in the same hole for the last 6 years. They just rotate the camera angle. You don't know any different. So I watched that show. I first saw that. I've always wanted a gold mine and stuff like that. And I saw it. I was like, oh, cool, treasure hunt. And I'm watching the show and I'm like, we never find anything on this show. I'm like, I feel like I've wasted a lot of time wondering what they're going to find.
There was a recent article that their viewer retention is starting to drop. People are getting sick of it.
Well, I wonder why. It's only been 25 years and they still haven't found anything.
So Ken wants to know if this live is a regular thing. Yes, they do this the third Saturday of every month. So if you've enjoyed the conversation that's been had here, third Saturday of every month, they're here. So
it's always something forestry or sawmill, obviously. But
yeah, so
you know,
William Pine's asking about Jeff Hoag's mini splitter. Jeff got one of the Range Road kindling splitters. So that's what he's talking about. Those Range Road kindling splitters are pretty cool. They're made just for kindling. I think it's got to be 10-inch or shorter wood to put in them. It's got a little box wedge, so it just spits out kindling. So like for Jeff and I, all the offcuts that come from your firewood, you can take all those short ends and turn them into kindling, and they dry quick because they're small, short splits. So
that's what we used to sell to restaurants, the shorter stuff for the smokers.
Yeah, the smoker chunks and stuff, you can get away with that.
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking about you today when we went in Cracker Barrel, walked by there, and they got the big old open hearth, and they had a fire burning. I said, somebody like Russ is selling them firewood. They're getting it from something.
So Alan, TKP, he had like 6 or 7 Cracker Barrels that they used to do down in his area in Indiana, and a couple of barbecue restaurants. Cracker Barrel, they burn wood from like, I want to say he said October to April. So they try to keep a fire going in the dining room during all that time. So
that's what I tell people all the time. If you want to be self-employed, find a need that you like and fill it. Find a need and fill it.
Yep.
So during the summertime, Russ, what do you guys do?
Summertime's prime time for firewood for us. People are getting ready for the next fall. So if they can get their firewood before July 4th, they're usually okay to have it dry enough to burn in the fall, as long as there's not a lot of oak in it up here. So if they're getting their wood early, we try to get most people to get their wood early. Doesn't always happen that way. And then it will slow down from July 4th to Labor Day. Everybody's vacationing and enjoying the summer weather and forgetting about the cold winter that's coming. And then from Labor Day on, when the kids go back to school, they realize, oh man, we didn't fill the woodshed. We're running behind. We need wood. So then they start calling, and from Labor Day to Halloween, it's just flat out. Bunyan is the hardest show for me to take off and go attend because it's during my busiest time of the year, but we always try to block some time off. We enjoyed it the first year, so this year we made sure we blocked the time for it. But when we get busy, we do 20 to 25 full cord a week during our busy season with Firewood.
Wow.
So it moves fast, and people, when they first started watching our video, I've had people come to our wood yard that was at our original house, and the wood yard was only 50 feet wide by 125 feet long. I could fit 4 triaxle loads of logs in a line down the yard, and we'd start at one end of the yard and work back and then go the other way. And we just went back and forth like a typewriter through the yard. And I've had people stop. I cannot believe you guys did that amount of wood in this yard. It looked bigger on camera. I said, everything looks bigger on camera.
So is it all green or is it dried or?
It's 90% of our wood we sell green. The only dry wood that I sell is restaurant wood.
Okay.
Everything else is sold green.
I was going to say it'd be
up here
quite
we've
a
got people
process to have
trained.
it.
That's one of the things that people rip me for all the time online is selling green firewood, because down south they say, oh, you sell a man green firewood, he's going to come after you, and how do you sleep at night? You're robbing people. We had a local newspaper do an article on us with our YouTube channel, and I was telling her about everybody down south complaining about us selling green firewood. She goes, I thought that's what everybody bought was green firewood. I said, thank you. I said, well, that's what we do up here. I said, but apparently when you get out of Maine, that's not a thing anymore.
No,
So
people down here, they wait to the last minute and they want somebody to have 10 cords of dry oak, 2 years old.
yeah, well, I tell everybody I'm not a bank. If you think about what tree length costs, so it cost me $150 to $180 a cord for pole wood up here. If I got to sit on 1,000 cord of wood, it's $180,000. I'm not sitting on $200,000 worth of wood for anybody.
Oof.
I don't even sit on it for myself. Most of the time I burn green ash in my wood stove.
Yeah.
Yeah, but would you set on it for another $300,000
No,
in addition
because
to?
you're not going to get $300,000
you know what I mean?
out of it. And with firewood, there's no loyalty in firewood with residential customers, because if they can buy it from John for $10 less a cord, they're going to buy it from John. They're going to say the heck with Russ.
Yep.
Right, but you can't buy it green around here.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They won't buy it green around here.
That's what they say
So
up
I've
here
got to
too.
set-
And I proved them wrong. It took me 12 years to get there, and I make my living doing it now. So I smile every day when they tell me I can't, because yes, I do. And yes, I will.
So do you do like totes, or do you just?
It's all loose.
All
So
loose?
right into
Okay.
a dump trailer or a dump truck and right to the customer.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I know around here, a lot of the firewood people here, they do green, but they put them in like totes.
IBC totes and stuff like that.
Correct.
Problem is
Jeff's
the
all-
IBC totes
Jeff's
up
all
here are like
green too,
$100
isn't
a
he?
piece.
Yeah. Let me ask
What's
you
that,
real quick, when you sell it out on the highway, those people are expected to load their own cord into their vehicle, right?
Yep.
Okay. So that helps a lot.
Yep, it does. And you're not paying to deliver and traveling to deliver it. So you get your transportation costs taken out of that. So it works out better. The roadside racks are your best profit margin for sure, because there's less handling and everything else. So
How about your delivery? It's a driveway dump.
yep, driveway dump. I mean, within reason, if I know it's hard, solid ground, I'll run around the back of a house or something like that and dump. But if I've never been there, if the ground's soft and we've had rain, I'm not putting my 16,000 pound dump trailer and truck out on your lawn to get buried. So, I mean, we use judgment. This time of year, everything's frozen solid. I'll go wherever they want. If there's no snow, we'll go wherever. But it's judgment. And that's one of the reasons why I like to do all the deliveries, because it's only me that I can blame if I do it. When I had employees before, I mean, we had some issues where they'd get stuck or they'd make ruts in somebody's lawn or whatever, and somebody was upset and unhappy. So when I had employees, it was driveway dump only. You dump it on a driveway or a hard surface and off you go. But with me, I'll make the judgment call myself. And if I put myself in a bad spot, it's only me to blame.
Yep, I agree.
So you have like what, electric hydraulic trailer?
Yep. Yeah, I got a 14-foot telescopic dump trailer right now. We had a 16-foot before. The 16-foot's too long for in town. You can't get cranked across the street and into a narrow driveway. So we shortened up and went 14-foot, and that made a pretty good difference. And a trailer is much, much cheaper to maintain than a dump truck is. So
I was going to say that's the way to go.
yeah. Dump truck is easier all day long. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to have a dump truck again because it's just so much easier, but a dump trailer is a lot less maintenance.
Yeah. How many cords can you get in your dump trailer?
2 if I heap it, and 2 looks a little obscure, especially behind my Toyota Tundra. That was what I had on it today when it decided it didn't want to do it anymore. But cord and a half fits real comfortable. And as a rule, most of our customers buy 3 cords. That's usually what their order is. That's the biggest bulk of our orders is 3-cord orders if they're heating with wood for the winter. So 2 trips and they're done and taken care of. So it works out pretty good.
Yeah. Well, you're in a good market down here where we're at. Our weather is mild and people have gotten out of the wood burning business.
Up here, there's a huge population that heats with wood up here still, especially an older population. They grew up with wood. It's what they've always had. It's what they like. I mean, our house that we have now, our new home, the only heat is wood. It was made with just wood heat when it was built a couple of years ago. We're going to put an outdoor boiler in just so we got a little more flexibility and whatnot. But I mean, we've got a Fisher wood stove that heats the whole house. So
same here. That's what I got, Fisher.
Yep.
We don't have a overly large house either. It's a small house, and that's all you need.
Yep.
I like it. I grew up with wood heat. If you grow up with wood heat, a heat pump, forced air is never the same.
We tried a pellet stove one time, and it's just dusty and noisy. The fan's always running, and we took the pellet stove out and we put a wood stove back in.
Yeah. There's something natural about sitting in a house on a cold day with a hot fire, having your living room 80 degrees, and then you go to your bedroom and it's 65 and you sleep good.
Yeah, so Gramp that cuts wood for me, he made a homemade wood stove out of a 3-foot piece of boiler pipe and had a hot water coil and all that, and the bottom was full of sand. So once that boiler pipe and sand got hot, that thing would heat the house for hours and hours and hours after the fire actually went out, and it would still hold enough coals so that when you went down 6 or 8 hours after the fire had been out, you could just rake it around, throw more wood in, and it would take right back off again.
Well,
keep your stoves away from your thermostats.
Yeah, I can see the fireplace behind you. You know, mine's a freestanding Fisher, and it's
this is just an electric one in our bedroom here.
Yeah, mine's sitting on
oh, you cheater!
Yep. Nice.
It's sitting on the wrong bed.
Honey, you want a fire?
Right.
That's worse than the pellet stove.
Yeah, that's worse than a pellet stove right there.
Oh, you're gonna get ripping over that electric stove now, buddy.
Yeah, I'll hear about that from somebody, I'm sure.
Yeah. Put your freestanding heater, like I say, mine's on a rock bed, and then the back wall up the wall is rock.
Yep.
And
So
it takes a
holds all that
day.
heat.
It takes a day to get that hot, but once you've got it hot, if your fire goes out overnight, you've got that big wall that's still radiating heat back into your house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was watching a thing over in Russia. They have Gloria heaters, and they're basically in-floor concrete heaters where they drop giant chunks of log down under the floor, and the flue goes out the side, but it heats from the bottom up through the houses, and they just jump. It was amazing, the chunks of wood that they were dumping in those things, and then they just close a hatch in their floor. And I'm like,
right,
fire underneath the floor of the house.
Right before we went live, I was looking at a Facebook post that come up. Somebody had one of these outdoor wood boilers, biggest one I've ever seen. They were loading it with an 8-foot log with a John Deere tractor.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was one of the ones they loaded it in the front, not the top.
Yeah, it went right in the front. A big 24-inch round log, 8-foot long. He was going to stick 3 or 4 of them in there.
Yep.
And some of them boilers does their water too, the hot water.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, most of them do. Yep. They got hot water coils built right into them.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's us northern boys talk. A what?
So down south, I guess they don't call them boilers; they call them water stoves.
Yeah.
So North Carolina, Jason from Yadkin Valley Outdoors, I was talking about a boiler, and he goes, "What's a boiler?" And I was telling him, and he goes, "You mean a water stove?" I said, "Whatever you want to call it." I said, "It's a stove that heats water." He goes, "That ain't a boiler." He goes, "That's a water stove." I said, "Whatever." I said, "Same thing." I said, "We can call it 2 different things, tomato, tomato." I said, "But it's the same thing, I promise."
Yeah, don't nobody in the South have a boiler. We don't know what those are. Nobody had steam heat growing up. The only boiler in the county that I knew of was in the elementary schools.
Yep.
And they didn't heat that good. It took about 10 o'clock for it to finally get warm, and then it was too hot.
Well, you had a wood stove and a cooking stove too.
Yep. But the wood stove was always the heart of the house. I mean, that was where everybody congregated,
Correct.
Back in the olden days, is around the wood stove or around the fireplace, because that was the warmest spot in the house. So,
Yeah, if you want your kids to stay close, heat with wood, they'll be near the heater.
yep.
Oh, yeah. But anyway.
And they'll be loading the wood, and they'll be cutting the wood, and they'll be stacking the wood.
If you're lucky.
I laughed yesterday. I went out to Mom's, and my grandkids, their great grandkids, were getting on their bicycles leaving.
Boy,
Did y'all in a hurry? Yeah, Mama called, said Daddy's calling his way home. We got to get firewood hauled in.
Yep.
Yes, the boiler is a hen. That's what a boiler is.
Yep.
An old hen. A young hen's a fryer.
Yeah, heating the wood's good. It heats you up several times. You cut it, drag it out of the wood, split it, stack it, haul it back in the house.
You know every piece by name by the time you're done with it.
Yeah, if we could harness all the heat that we generate when we're making firewood, we wouldn't need to burn the wood to begin with.
Yep. That's true.
Well, guys, it's been almost 3 hours. Wow.
Yep.
Where has time gone?
Mm-hmm.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It was a good show. It was a good
Very
show.
good.
Enjoy
job.
it. Thanks for coming, Russ.
Yeah,
Russ,
no problem. Appreciate
Thanks
you
for
guys
coming
having me
on,
on.
and thanks for all your knowledge. And we'd love to have you on again some point.
Yeah, just
Well,
give
we'll
a
have him
shout.
on again.
Just give a shout. Maybe we'll have a hydraulic mill next time, and I can tell you about all the things I broke, because every time you get something new, you break it. So
That's it.
Come back in 6 months and tell us how you haven't got any time because the sawmill business has exploded.
yeah, well, we're getting towards spring, and spring's building season, and if people want lumber, then that's when we're going to get busy. So I already know that's coming.
Yep.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Keep
All
you in
right.
touch
Appreciate it too.
with,
Thank you.
keep you in touch with
Thanks,
Jack.
Russ.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. And third week of every month, the Forestry and Sawmill Roundtable will be aired at 8 p.m. Everybody hang around here just a minute after we end the show.
And we'll Sawmills and Lumber, you can register your sawmills for free.
Correct.
Sawmillsandlumber.com. You can register sawmills for free. We'll be back next Thursday, or the third Thursday of next month.
Saturday, John.
Oh, we could make it Thursday. That sounds better, doesn't it? No. Third Saturday. All right. See you in the third Saturday.
All right, guys. Thank you. We want to thank everybody for stopping by the show tonight. And remember, it's the third Saturday of every month that we all gather and on the show. See you later, guys.